Woohoo!
Get
There
it.
we go. Now we're officially ready to start. So we're working on which two songs tonight? Which one are we going to do first? Was it Baby?
Babyface.
Babyface.
Okay, all righty. So, Julie, can you get them started while I get my documents up, please? I was telling them I'm a little bit behind today. So sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Babyface. I had the other one up. I don't know why, because I thought it was in order.
Oh well, if the other one's first, that's fine too. What's the other one?
That's okay. That's if you guys
Red
want
Red
to-
Robin.
I just have to go back into to get yeah.
I just couldn't remember which one was the next one in order. So that's my fault.
Yeah, but I think we have When I Leave the World and Babyface, right?
Oh, okay.
No, I think we
No.
did When I Leave the World
Yeah, we already
Behind
did that
last
one.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
wait.
So that's
Okay.
why I thought we were doing Babyface. Oh my gosh. We're batting 1,000, Judy. Now we look like we don't know what we're doing.
We are completely, I'm gonna have to get an entirely different book or erase all the marks from Act 1 because they're overlapping, and sorry about that. That's not a good excuse, but it is. I've written the wrong thing down, so, okay, all right. So we're talking tonight. Oh, yeah, I remember we talked about that, didn't we? Yes, yes, okay, good, I'm sorry. And you'd think that we were just the ones who just got up this morning.
Yeah.
No, isn't that sad? Oh my
It's a
God.
figment of my imagination that it's not morning here. Oh, I have to, and I did have coffee too. So, all right, here we go. So, Babyface. So we're talking about getting the components down in the basic form, and you were able to identify. It's a pretty straightforward one, don't you think? So we have anybody want to talk about what the framework is with how many bars and all that kind of thing?
Jump
Well, it
right
was written
in.
on the music.
Yeah.
It was
what-
written on the music.
Oh, it's already written on there?
8 bars of
Well-
intro, 32 of a chorus, and a verse and a chorus with a key change and a tag.
There you go.
Got it.
Perfect.
All right. So,
A key change and a stomp.
There we go. Yeah.
right. And who's that? It's not in my book here. All right. So we're talking about the range of the song. Well, no, we didn't talk about. Of course, we know what the key is, and the form. This is a little different form, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Than kind of what we're used to. Anybody want to talk about it?
I put A, B, C, D.
You put A, B, C, D, Liz?
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, so did I. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to me because I'm Liz too, but I'm Elizabeth here.
Oh,
Sorry.
I know. We get mixed up with that. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is Liz, and you're Elizabeth, right? Yes.
Right.
Well,
Well, they both go by Liz. That's what's so hard. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Okay.
right,
Yeah.
right. But I'm trying to adjust to just being Elizabeth here. I'm sorry.
Bless your heart for doing that.
So anyway, so we had, so you had A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
Liz, okay, and Elizabeth, you had A, B, C, D?
I did too, yeah.
Anybody else have anything different?
Yeah, I just had A, B, A, C. If you just count 8 measures, it might not sound like it when you sing it, but A, B,
Okay.
A, C.
That's what I put,
All right.
but I wasn't sure. This was a little confusing to me.
It was. Abby, Emily,
I put ABAC too.
A, B, A, C, and Abby did too. I think she
Yeah.
nods her head. Why would you say, Liz and Elizabeth and Liz, why would you say that, did you choose to make the second A a C? What made it seem like that to you?
Because the melody was different.
Okay, because, okay, and it's an interesting one because we used to have a thing, used to call it like A and A1, you know, remember things like that. So a variation on that theme, but if the
Right.
general thing, where does it get different? Because like the first 4 bars are almost identical, aren't they?
Mhm, mhm. they are.
And then the next, the next 4 bars are identical, aren't they? Until it gets to O, like the pick up to 73, is that true?
The 73.
Yeah,
Why around 73?
in the second chorus. So, right, we're talking about the first chorus being A, and then the B being the verse, and then the second chorus that.
No, we're talking about the form of the chorus.
Yeah, I was just,
That's what we're talking about. What was the form of the chorus? Like da 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 da.
That's why I'm asking where it's almost the same until it gets to that pick up to 73 is where it changes, right?
Well, that's in course 2. Are we talking about course 1 or course 2?
Let's talk about chorus 1.
Yeah, maybe I'm confusing. So, all right, so you explain to me what it is, because maybe I'm not reading what you're saying. I thought that I was understanding what you were saying, and maybe I'm not. So,
so for my ABCD, I was just counting that as chorus 1. I was talking about the chorus in general, just the chorus.
Yes.
and where's your B?
Where's my D, A, B?
I had my B starting at measure 18. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I did too.
Okay,
And then I went to C on bar 25 and
Okay.
D on bar 33.
Yes,
yeah, technically B starts on 19, doesn't it? The downbeat of 19, right?
right.
8, 9. Yeah, wait, no, yeah.
I guess because then the measures get all mixed up.
Yeah, and that's the problem with it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to take this. Do you ever know in a chorus, every time you turn the page, everything goes bad? You're singing and you turn the page and we always lose like a beat, or you lose the chords. Well, I just realized I need to put my pages side by side. I apologize. I need to go out and start over again. I'll just go out and come back in and.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So.
If
So
I'm
maybe
sorry.
so let's identify where does everyone think that B starts at 18 then?
I would put 17 just to keep it an easy
Yeah.
8 measure.
I put 17 to 24.
I put 17 to 24 as well.
That's in the middle of a phrase, though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
it
if we
is.
did it 8 by 8 bars, then that worked. But in terms of where the pulse was, it sort of feels like it starts at 21, which is very atypical because they're not 4 bar
You all
section.
said 8-bar intro, right? And then you said a 16-bar chorus, right?
32.
32.
I see 32.
32 bar chorus.
But 32-bar chorus, which is probably divisible by 2, right? So more than likely, one chord A is 16, and then 16 bars of B. Doesn't that make sense?
Normally, yes. But in this
So-
song, not sure. Oops, get back in the right song here. Okay.
Yeah, in other words,
So we were looking at A, B, A, C, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, but that doesn't really work for the first A, B transition because it's
it
mid-phrase.
really doesn't, does it? No.
Right.
Because where the next A starts in measure 61, right?
Starts at
Oh, sorry.
25.
What I have, yeah.
So I was looking at chorus 1. I'm getting confused.
Yeah,
now.
we have to look at chorus 1. Let's all look at chorus 1. So
Right.
then the second A starts at 25, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of where the emphasis was, I felt it's actually more 12 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, which is
Ah,
very unusual.
it is very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. cutest A.
In that sense, it could almost be AA and then like longer A's. That sort of functions a bit more like that because that little 4-measure thing doesn't really seem like its own.
It's like an afterthought, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
it's like
turnaround or something.
Yeah, it's like a turnaround almost. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's like crazy.
Oh, girl.
1, 2,
Wait.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you can't just go 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, can you?
If we take a look at when we're doing this, I think to identify things, a lot of times the answer, the riddle is in the message. So if we all said together at measure 9 and we said, I love you, baby face, you've got the cutest little baby face. There's another one to take your place, my baby face. My poor heart is jumping. You sure have started something. Bonk. That's the end of the first thought. And then the second thought is, baby face, I'm up in heaven when I'm in your fond embrace. I didn't need a shove because I just fell in love with your pretty baby face. End of the second thought. Are you with me?
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
doesn't work for the form though. I get what you're saying.
The
So
form
that
is
means the
AB.
form is AB. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do.
That's A is the first.
A, it's 12 measures. Who's the one that said 12 measures, 4 measures? And yes, that's what it is. So baby face, you've got the cutest little baby face. There's not another one could take your place. My baby face. A. B, my poor heart is jumping. You should have started something with just a little 4-measure thing. And then baby face, A again, which starts the same way. Da 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 da. And then it's A prime. Da da in your fond embrace is a little different. So that's A prime, but it would still be called ABA. And then I didn't need a shove is the next part. AB, yeah, so what are we on? C, yeah, didn't need a shove because I just fell in love with your pretty baby face. And normally, the phrases are 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars. But in this case, it isn't, which makes it really hard to try to decipher what is the form. So,
Okay, so I was trying to take notes here. So where did you break off after we started again in measure 25? How far does that section go?
okay, wait a minute now. So we have A is baby, goes from measure 9 to
20.
20. Okay, that's the first part A. And then starting at measure 21, through 24 is
Okay,
part B.
right.
And then at measure 25 is the second part A. I'm up in heaven when I'm in your fond embrace. And then at measure 33 is C. I didn't need a shove because I just fell in love with your pretty baby face. And it's a miracle that it all comes out to 32 because
Yeah,
the
right.
the phrases are like uneven. Yeah. But it's important to be able to recognize stuff like that when you're looking at a piece of music. And so I like the way Judy was thinking of it because she did the first baby face, blah, 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 and the next time it says baby face. Yes, that's the next. Those two are the 2-part A's. But yeah, so
I mean, it does make sense in a way. It's sort of like syncopation, not syncopation. Oh yeah, kind of like that, or like in jazz singing when you kind of sing a little bit behind, but as long as you make up for it eventually.
yeah,
So it actually does make sense when you're performing
Yeah.
this. You might have this run-on phrase, but you're not
Yeah.
actually adding. You're just
Right.
rubbatoing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it all comes out to 32 measures. We're
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
There
And
you
if you're
go.
doing along with a little drum kit, it would still add up to your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phew, that's a hairy way to get around that.
Yeah.
So is everybody all clear with that, with how this crazy one works this time? Yeah, are you okay,
So
Donna?
Yes.
Okay.
Now but the second chorus it's kind of different.
Right.
Okay.
Second course, you can kind of, the second course is like a variation, so you can kind
Right,
of.
it is. Yes, okay.
So we're mainly, whenever we're
Sorry,
talking
I
about
didn't-
form.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Can I just ask? I'm only really familiar with sort of this arrangement, not non-barbershop. Would you say that weird thing in the beginning is that the standard? I don't know if you know either. Based on the original sheet music, is that sort of a standard way of singing it, or do you think this arranger kind of tweaked? Do you know?
You mean for the intro? Is that what you mean?
No, for that odd verse that doesn't quite add up and then it adds up. Is that
Oh,
was she following sort of the standard song? Do you think?
yes, I do think so.
I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
so. That's the way the song goes.
Yeah, that's the way the sheet music
right.
goes. Yeah,
Okay. Thanks.
that's a good point. Yeah. Yes, Elizabeth Frank.
So, okay,
one.
so, so the form is actually ABAC,
Yes.
ABAC. Okay, so then our C and so then our A goes from measures 9 to 20. B goes measures 21 to 24.
Uh-huh.
And then the next A goes 25 to 31.
Let's see.
32.
32.
Through 32.
Okay, and then the C is 33 to
Yes.
33 to baby 39.
Yes.
Okay, so all right. So then we have
It would actually
so
go
how
to
many
40.
measures?
Yeah. It would actually
How
go
many-
to 40. They
It
just
would
put
actually
an O in there. You know,
okay.
if you were, you know, if you look at the sheet music, it would go, baby face would be 2 measures long, you know. So they just put an O, the arranger put an O in there instead.
Okay, so at the point of which now you're going to hear Jean and I, who rarely disagree on anything, are going to disagree. And I'm just going to throw it out there so that we can discuss it. Because, and actually, this is a look at my notes from other things, but I still maintain that A is 9 to 24.
Uh-huh.
B is 25 through 40.
Okay.
A is 61 through 76, and C, it starts in measure 77.
Got the, is that another one?
Because
And
you
you
have
have-
the whole song in terms of the choruses, and you repeat this 16 bars again in measure 61. So that's the 2 A's to me. And the B is the at 25, that it's, you know, somewhat different with that. And then C is the variation on that theme. And I realize that that is not completely what I think there's a rationale to say that that could be the form of the song. But I realize that what Jean is going to say is probably going to be right. But I still,
No,
but I
so
still
wait,
think breaking
I'm
up a chorus
confused. I'm confused. Why did you jump to 61?
because it's the
So
second chorus.
so you can have a verse in between the four, like in the middle of the two you've got 2 sections and a verse, and then the two
Because
two
sometimes we
sections.
would often put the verse beforehand and we'd have the choruses, and then we would count that as, wouldn't we count that as part of the form of the song? Is the choruses and then the repeat of the chorus or something? It wouldn't be if the verse were not in there, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Would we
Well,
not?
so when you
But
say
then
to
it
go
would be
to-
60, then it would be double, then it would be 64 bars.
when you look at measure 61 and think of that as part of the form, those are the exact same notes that are in the first chorus of Baby Faith.
Right, yes, exactly.
So I'm not sure why you jumped to that for, what did you call that? The second A?
So what we're doing then is taking apart this one set of 32 bars and making it into the A, B, A, C, right?
Yes, yes.
And not considering the second time we do the chorus, because then that would need another form, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's, you're allowed to vary the form when you
Yes.
go repeat the second chorus, you know, when you
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So, but for the sake of our classes, when we're looking at the form
Right.
of a chorus,
Okay,
we're always going to look at the first chorus of
right,
the song. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think you were kind of saying the same thing, but you jumped to measure 61, and that made my
Mm.
brain go, what?
Yeah, and I know, and I was like, but as I was looking at this, I was like, after a while, I'm looking at all these too many notes. I think we had maybe had that conversation before. It's like, why didn't this go this way?
Yeah.
And that it seems an odd thing for form on this song. Don't you
Yes.
think? This
Yes.
song does not have that clearly identified sections like
Right.
A, B, A, C, I think. They're
Yeah.
kind of like, that seems an odd place to do. My poor heart is jumping. You should have started something. Is like an odd kind of a duck to have as B, isn't it? It's like,
Yes, yeah, well, and that's because part A went 12 measures. So if you did,
I know.
tw-
It's
you
just,
know,
yeah.
so that, it's
yeah.
kind of an uneven, the
Yeah,
phrases
okay.
are uneven.
All right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So it looks funny on paper, but when you sing it, it feels fine.
Yeah, it feels fine
That's a good
because
point,
the
Liz.
overall
Thank
thing is still
Yes.
32 measures. Yeah,
Yep, you got it. Okay, girl. Good,
yeah,
good job.
yeah.
I
so
was just
that's-
looking up because of Abby's question. I found a lead sheet for the original
Oh,
song,
good.
and
Yeah.
it's exactly as
It's
per
the
the original
same.
form. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Including the return of the chorus as well?
No, just in terms of
Okay.
chorus one structure.
Okay.
That sort of
Yeah, just
12,
the
4,
structure of
16.
chorus one. Yeah. So when you
All right, well,
when you
that-
do
that
the chorus,
justifies it then. Yeah.
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 So when you do the chorus the second time, you can vary it. Yeah, that's what arrangers do to make their arrangements interesting. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Good.
Ooh,
Okay.
very confusing. Ah! And most songs that we look at for contestable songs will have 32 bars, and it will be in 8-measure increments.
Okay.
And this one isn't, which is a good thing to look at and try to decipher. Even though it's not in 8-bar increments, they are the different sections are still divisible by 2 or 4. Yeah, I guess you could say 4.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like we have one that's 7 measures and the next one's 3 measures. It still
Mm.
is 12, 4, 8.
So can I just clarify, in terms of contestability, you're saying it's not too much of a problem because or is this really like, is that a ping against being contestable?
Actually, because the overall structure is 32 bars, it is contestable.
It's okay.
Yeah. Because now you have to think about this. The judges aren't looking at a chart.
Yeah.
They're going by what they hear. And if they hear one
Yeah.
that says, well, it sounds okay when we sing it,
Yeah.
they're not going to sit there and take the time and go, wait a minute, part A was 12 measures. And part B, they don't have time for that. They're just, yeah.
As long as it feels, you've got that feel of
Yeah. Which is a weird thing, but that's kind of what we do. Yeah.
Mm.
Very strange. Is everybody still with us? Now that we have you totally confused.
Sorry about that, ladies.
No, it's a confusing one, and it's worth noting.
Yep.
And you're not going to find stuff like that all the time. But
Yep.
I think of Auld Lang Syne. For the sake of Auld Lang Syne, it has a verse which has nothing to do with the chorus, but that's a weird one to me too, because that verse is 12 measures long, and we try to do 8-measure verses, or 16-measure verses is really pushing it.
Yeah.
So as an arranger, then I would take those 12 bars and I would only sing 8 of them, 8 measures, so that the verse was 8 measures long. Yeah. So that's what I would do, but I guess it's been done both ways. But
Yeah. Well, anyway, on to more interesting and exciting things like harmony and melody, right? So how about the range then? The range of this one? The range of the melody.
A to C.
Yep. Yep. So that's a kind of a nice, place to be in terms of that, for a lead. It's a good lead. What about the other parts?
F sharp to F, or the alternate ending of high A if you choose.
Mhm.
Baritone A to B flat, bass D to F. The bass has a lot of low Ds. I thought it was a relatively large range for each part, but still manageable.
Right, yeah.
yeah, and that's a good thing. Be good for the singers. The melody doesn't have any like wild, crazy jumps in it too much, so that's helpful.
Mhm.
I thought that particularly for the bass is hovering around that low D. It's not just a stepwise progression down and staying there. They've got a lot of fifth jumps from that low D, which I think would be somewhat difficult to navigate, particularly at speed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it'd be tricky. Yeah.
Basses have a couple of octave jumps. They have an F to F and an E to E.
Em, did you have, or did you have the sheet music? Did you
Wait,
call it, did you
did
say?
I?
you had
Oh, I just found a lead sheet.
Yeah,
a
I
lead
didn't
sheet?
have a
I
lead
was
sheet.
wondering, is the intro part of what's on the, just was wondering if that's a part of the, on the sheet music.
Not the one I've got, no.
Okay. It's just one to look at because as we discuss, kind of going through intros, it's just good to note the intros, just to notice them to see. And why do I not have that sheet music? Oh dear. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, that's why I asked you. For some reason, I don't have that sheet
Oh.
music.
Yeah,
So
look,
what-
I've just found another one, and look, the intro is completely different. I'm wondering if Joni's made this one herself, because this one is rosy cheeks and turned up nose and curly hair. I'm raving about my baby now. Pretty little dimples and something, something, something. It goes on and on and on. So I wonder if she's,
So
Yeah.
maybe
you said before,
that's
Jane,
why I'm
gone,
wondering,
let's make up an 8 bar.
This is the
Yeah.
Joni intro, which she's really good at.
Yeah.
And as we get into it, this is a good one to notice because as we talk about later on about intros, which can be very perplexing to do. This is a good example of an intro that sets up a song. And I
Right.
think this is Joni's, but like I said, I cannot find
Right.
the doggone sheet music.
I don't recall having that in the original sheet music, although, I don't have that at my
Well, I
fingertips.
had it on the others, but I don't know why I didn't have that. Anyway, but just to notice that something that takes completely out of the tempo and sets up the song in a really fun way going into it as we go. Just wanted you to notice that because we're going to be talking about intros and tags. It's not really, we're working on a new
Lesson.
activity for this
Yeah.
program that wasn't there before. We started it in the last group, and now the next group, and we're working on one. And this is one I just wanted to point out is a really good example, I think, of a really fine intro to set up a song. That's all I wanted to just mention. So
So a notation thing that we always say the new right and the old right. So if I were arranging this song, I would put right after the intro, I would put ad lib for the intro.
great, yeah.
And then
Oh.
at the chorus, I would put a tempo. Because starting at the chorus, you would
Right.
sing it, so when you're doing your arrangements, that's something that needs to be
Good point.
included on your charts now. Yeah. All right, cool.
So looking at the original sheet music, there are 20 bar verses. So
Oh,
she's scrapped the first one, written her own intro, and then used the second of the verses for her middle verse section.
Oh, very good. Yay. That's good to
Yep.
know. Yep. Those are all the kind of decisions you have to make as an arranger when you look at a piece of music. Wow. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Yay.
Thanks for that. Em. Okay.
Okay, so how are we with the chords? We have a whole abundance of dominant chords and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
A bunch of triads. So that shows me that this is a good, this could be good for a contest because we want to have a song that has lots of those kinds of chords. And of course, there'll be other chords in it too. So, yeah.
This is about baby face.
Yeah.
I have a question about the F augmented in bar 21.
Okay.
They've doubled the A
Which
instead of
chord
the
are you-
F.
Which chord?
So
are
the
you-
second chord. So the second chord in bar 21.
Yeah.
That's an augmented chord, but they've doubled the A. She's doubled the A instead of putting
it's
the
not a-
bass on the F.
It's not an augmented chord. It's an.
Oh,
F
it's not, is it?
It's an
I've got
F
it mixed
sharp-
up.
F sharp minor chord.
Oh, okay.
So a major chord would be F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. So
Yeah.
F sharp, A, C is a minor chord. So in a minor chord, you can double any of the notes. But because when I look at My Poor Heart, the overall implied harmony is an A chord, right? When they're using an A7. And so when you are using the relative minor chord that goes with it, or you're using
Yeah.
a minor chord, then if you double the A, that keeps it
Yeah,
more
yeah.
in the flavor of the A chord for the measure.
Yeah, I understand that. I've just made a mistake in making the chord. I don't know why I did that, but anyway.
Well, I'm glad you asked about it. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jean, did I hear you say that in a minor chord, you can double any of the tones?
Yes, they usually, yes. Although
Even
some
the
of them
fifth?
are stronger to double
Yeah.
than the others, you know.
So even the fifth of the chord, you could?
Yes. You double the root, you could double the fifth. That's yeah, you could double the third. I gotta go back and look at my little chart now, so I'm not,
It's most commonly you would double the third
yes.
in the
Yeah.
minor chord, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
That was the most
because
common.
it's because it's the relative feeling, you
Right.
know, of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
overall A implied harmony. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Were there any other chords that confused that we need to talk about that were difficult to understand why they were there or what they were? You guys are really sharp at this.
There was a misspelled chord or two.
Yeah, where'd you see that?
Measure 76.
Okay. Let's see.
I've got that last chord there. Should have I have it as an
C
A7,
sharp.
but it should be C sharp instead of a D flat.
So we have
Yeah.
E flat, G. I see a E. I see an E. Oh, because
Well, I
it's-
see where you mean on thin,
Yes.
right?
On thin,
Yes.
yes,
If it were
Yes.
spelled correctly, it would be a C sharp.
yes.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, you're right. With those little things going above it. Yeah.
Yeah, good catch. Yes.
Ah, very good.
And so the old way is they try to do like this, you know, to make it easier for the singer. And the new way is let's spell all the chords correctly and put the little thing that says same note. You know, like that was somewhere else in this song. Where did I just see one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at measure 24, they did put a little bracket and it says same note,
Mm.
right? So that the chords could be spelled correctly.
Mhm.
And so really that's what they should have done at measure 76 also. Yeah.
There's one also on say measure 84 is the last chord there.
Okay. Yeah.
And measure 60 final chord as well.
Okay. Yep, same thing. They could have done that on didn't. Yep. And measure 60. Was another one?
Mm-hmm. The yaw. A flat 7.
Oh yeah. Good job. Yeah.
Oh, I marked that as an A. Oh yeah, it should be a G flat. Yeah, right.
You know, we talked in the last group we did on measure 93 that told that the last chord in measure 93
Yeah.
really works better as an A natural. Everybody's going down a half step from the third to the fourth chord. Do you see that?
Mm.
And it even sounds, as we played it, it was interesting to look at because if you play it the way it's written, instead when everybody was it was just interesting that everybody went down a half step and then one part went down a whole step, and to lead into the that the lead
Oh, to
line
keep
would
going.
most likely go as a walking down, you know, everybody else is ba-da-da-da-da-dum. That's the bass, and well, the baritone's never quite right. No, but I mean, it has to do something else, but seemed odd, and we just looked at it and thought, if we were doing, maybe that's an old right, maybe a new right would be to let the leads walk down with the basses, would be stronger.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
who knows? Yeah.
But who's would argue with Joni Bescos anyway, so yeah. It was just interesting that we had, that in general, we would say, if those parts were all walking down a half step up and down, it would make more sense, and it even sounds, I think, better, but,
Yeah.
anyway, that's just
Yeah.
a note. And then you had, what was it, you guys had said, what was the other one that you said on that page? 84, did you say?
Yes,
And
The
the
last-
other one is also misspelled, right?
right.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought, okay, good. Yeah,
Which one is misspelled?
The last one.
The
the
Yeah,
last
NC,
chord
yeah,
in 84,
should
the
be,
baritone should be an F sharp, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
4 to 85, yep.
okay, all right, well,
Right.
let's, if there weren't any other questions about the chords, and we know that there were lots of, we did,
Anything else about the chords?
Okay.
That was good.
And
That was
then-
good at catching those stuff.
Then in the tag measure 93, did you ladies say that the G flat in the Barry and the last chord of that measure should be written as an F sharp? Is that what I heard?
No.
Oh, I think we were talking about a different measure.
no, not for me, it wasn't, no, I think that chord spelled
That
correctly.
was measure 60, measure 60. has
Yeah,
it.
measure 60.
Right.
Okay, so there is no misspelled chord in 93?
No.
No.
No, it's not a misspelled. I was just simply saying that in the lead, if the lead were walking down as the bass does, everybody going down a half step, that an A natural would be a good idea,
Oh, on the
instead.
second syllable of little?
Pardon?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
The last chord.
okay.
When all these cards are moving, as you're thinking about it, making it, that's sort of like a hiccup that we didn't need to have happen. If we expect the lead to sing, "Da-da-da-dum," and everybody else came down, it sounds a little funky, especially if it's the melody. Pretty little baby, coming down half steps would make it smoother. It's
Yeah.
just,
Mhm,
it's just window shopping, folks. That's all.
mhm.
So anyway, all right. So we did, and of course we had a couple of solos there, right? And with just the lead kind of out, what did you think of those?
I'm sorry, which solos are you talking about?
Well, we're just noticing that that we had, like, for instance, on the tag, that the lead has a couple of solos, and sometimes, and I think there's nothing wrong with it, but it may be stronger. I didn't need, no, I didn't, is for everybody to hit the chord and then come off and do your pattern. Sometimes you leave the leads out there to just sort of like, everybody's a big sound, cause I just, and then one little voice goes, hell, unless it's a quartet. But for a chorus, sometimes that can be, it like, for instance, I didn't need, like, 85. It can be a solo, or it could also be everybody sings the chord and then the leads hold it, and then they go into the rhythmic thing, I'm just saying, you have choices there. It's a good thing to have, like, maybe a solo, but maybe oftentimes to hit the chord and the downbeat and then drop out, rather than just leave one part, especially in a big thing. You're getting really big there. I didn't need, and it's just one little part going. I think she needed the other parts. No, just,
Cute.
yeah, just
Maybe, maybe she did that for effect because this was the stomp part. I don't know.
right. And
Because
I'm not saying it was anything wrong, but
Yeah.
sometimes when we're looking at it, think of where you are when you give like a one note solo where it is there. Oftentimes it's maybe I didn't need, then everybody comes in, if she had the whole thing, but this is
Oh, yeah.
everybody's singing, I didn't, and then just one voice goes, need, maybe it would have been better to, in that little progression, I need and make it solid, and then everybody comes back and says,
Oh, yeah.
no, I didn't. You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just a thought, because lots of times a solo would be more like embrace, and then just the lead going, I didn't need, and then everybody comes in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to just
makes
point it
sense.
out that maybe dropping them on their heads like that might not be the best choice. Yeah. Okay,
Very good. Yay.
and how about the voicing with the open and the closed? What do you think?
It seemed to be more open than
It
closed. I
did,
thought.
didn't it? Yeah, lot of open, lots of big ringers, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then many are closed in the stomp.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Cool. Nice variety that way. Yep.
So, I think it's interesting, the time change there, the 12/8, that's what you're all calling the stomp, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's not labeled as stomp.
I
So
know.
is 12/8 always stomp?
Yeah, you know what? That is Jo, if you ever knew Joni, she was so technically correct. So I think Joni was one of the few arrangers that always did her stomp in a 12/8. You know,
Uh-huh.
she wrote it well, I don't know what it's called in music, grammatically correct, or I don't know what it's called in music, you know, musically correct would be to make it have a 12/8 feeling, because when you sing a stomp, that's really what it is. It's
Mhm.
changing from a duple feeling to a triplet feeling.
Right.
And so the correct way to put that in the music is to do 12/8. Although
12/8.
although many arrangers just say stomp there, you know, or they'll say 2/8 equals like the triplet feeling or
Oh,
something.
like, is that the same as swing time?
Uh, no, not
same.
really.
No, I don't, there's something.
Yeah, I said the wrong thing saying 2/8 equal. No, that's not right. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're going from a duple feeling to a triple feeling.
Okay.
So if you wanted to
So
keep the steady, you want to keep the pulse the same. So the first part of the song is in duple. You know, then it changes to a triplet feeling when you get to the stomp. And yet
if
you're
you're
keeping
talking
the
about,
pulse the same. Yeah.
sorry, correct manuscript nowadays, would you expect us to write it in 12/8 or just to put this as do a stomp thing?
Yes. I would prefer that you do it in 12/8. Yeah. In fact, I would say write it in 12/8 and still write the word stomp so they know.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're wrong to do it the other way. I think that might be preferred, but I think Joni wrote it like, or when they wrote it like that, it's like, you have to see it like that, a stomp, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, 12, 1. You can't sing it any other way,
Right.
except to make it a stomp. But I think we still are asking everybody to, once again, as Jean was saying at the beginning, where it was ad lib and a tempo, this 12/8 should be marked stomp. And then the pickup to 89 should say a tempo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
She gives the little railroad tracks there, but up with the fermata, but it should still say tempo, so that you know you're going with your pretty going
Yeah.
back into tempo, right?
Right. Well, she did change the time signature right there. Yes, I really fell in love. It's not in 12/8 anymore.
Right.
So
Oh, I see,
instead of writing out tempo again, that's the way she did it. She went back to the cut time.
Right.
So those passages after a tempo, so from, bar 89, that just felt very stodgy to me after it's not like it's so long and
Yeah.
regimented. That felt quite, I don't know. I just thought it was a bit off-putting compared to the rest of the song. Is that just me? Is it just because I don't know how it's supposed to be sung?
Tell us what you mean. What do you think about
It's just so donk, 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 donk,
yeah.
donk, donk, donk that just didn't
Right.
feel like it was creative enough or something for the ending. It just felt bonk, 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 and I don't know. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. I see
Because
what you're
everyone's
saying.
winded at this point and you just need plot holes that
You know, and if you could, I think, Lizzie, you know, that's a really, really interesting place, because like sometimes we say, you know, take it home, right? You want to
Right.
flourish, and it does with your pretty baby face. I love your, it's like you say, it's could be considered to be too long. I think that it could easily go to love with your pretty little baby face.
Yeah.
You know, that could be your choice. Just end it. I mean, just make it
Right.
instead of yeah, I think interesting comment there, because once you've really got their attention with that love, we expect something really fun, don't we? It's like,
Yeah.
oh boy, this is exciting. And then you go with your pretty baby face. I love her.
This is one of those examples of, since she put in with your pretty baby face, it's finishing out the number of measures for the chorus, and then she does a tag. Versus fell in love with your pretty little baby face is using the end of the chorus as part of as also the
Right.
beginning of the tag. So there are two different ways to approach that. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
But if you went to what you were just saying, Jean, that actually 91 ends the 8 bars,
Oh,
doesn't it? And
Right.
if you take 12/8, that goes, well, which is interesting, before that, if you start at 77, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 before the stomp. And we talked about this in the last group too, that if you made 83 into 2 measures with the Fond embrace, then you'd have 8 bars, because otherwise you have 7, and then it goes into the stomp. So in other words, it's a little off.
Oh yeah. I
You
see
see
why
what I
she
mean?
put the 12/8 there, but the stomp section really doesn't start till measure 85. I
Yeah.
didn't is a pickup, you know?
Right, but it's
Yeah.
still
Still doing the
yes, and
feeling of
it is
12/8.
that. It is.
So
I
that's one of the reasons
here.
she used 12/8 to get the singer into the yada da 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 mindset before it was actually time to start the official stomp, which starts at 85.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and so therefore, if the 12/8 would have started on 85,
Yeah.
you know, then it would be clear, because right now it looks like it was 7 bars, and then that started the 8. But you're right, that does
Yeah.
start, that does finish the 8, and
Mhm.
then you're right. I get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I would imagine that Joni put the 12/8 right there, because as you're holding embrace, I didn't, you needed to start feeling that 12/8 meter. Yeah.
So that's a good
What-
principle for us too, if we're writing music, if we're writing a stomp, to do that.
Yeah, because you want to do the way she put her time signature like that. There's no question about where do you start feeling the yada da 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 da.
Yeah.
Because as a judge sitting in the pit, I've listened to choruses tripping into the stomp because they don't know exactly how to feel or how to make the transition from the duple to the triple. And so the way she wrote this with her time signature, it made it very obvious where you're supposed to start feeling that triplet feeling to go into the stomp. Yeah. So very clever. Woo.
You know, you were saying one thing about what this is here is it's very cool chords, and with simply maybe with your pretty baby face, I love your pretty little, you know, if you put made that 91 a quarter note on face, and put a quarter or a half note and then a quarter rest, and I love your pretty little, it would make it less stodgy, because it's a really cool chords that leads into I love your prit. You know, it's very nice progression. Her chord progressions are gorgeous. So maybe it just needs a little for us as arrangers is, you've got
Mm,
these great things. Think about how you've notated it and give your singers some clue as to how it should be done.
mm,
Right, yeah. This way it's like use your own interpretation, where if you put in the rhythms like Judy suggested,
Yeah,
that would
Yeah.
say, that would
Yeah.
really help the singers know how to interpret it. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
and if it said, with your pretty baby face, I love your, it said, with your pretty
Mm.
baby face, maybe pretty would, more like we would say it, because we always try to sing it the way we'd say it.
yeah.
And we probably wouldn't say you have a pretty baby face.
Mm.
I would a pretty baby face, because all the rest of them
And
were
that could be
baby
too, with your
face, yeah.
pretty baby face, I love your, so you have choices. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Mm.
go with some of them. Okay.
So she left it for, okay, so interpret it however you want there,
Yeah.
You could do it either way, yeah. But as the new right is, you try to give the singers as many clues as possible to sing it the way you as the arranger intended it to be, So as a ballad, they can interpret their own things, but there may be certain places where you put the rhythm exactly like whatever, because you want that phrase to go like that. Same thing with something like this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Let's see, how we doing with voicings? Not pretty, 93.
Some gaps between lead and tenor I had written down.
Yep.
What do you mean with that, Liz, when you say gaps?
I was talking about like the distance between the leads and the tenors. I've just written that down as a note
Oh, the
somewhere.
lead and the
So
tenor. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, good.
yeah, the leads and the tenors.
Yeah, like measure 13.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Measure 9. Yeah.
Right, there were a lot of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens when the baritone is above the lead, huh? So
Yeah.
so when you hear it sung, it doesn't feel like a big gap because that baritone note is in between. But yes,
Yeah. But even so, it's still quite
yes.
I mean, but the whole
hard
thing,
to
it's
balance.
nearly 2 octaves difference there in bar 13. So I guess, yeah, they're very widespread.
Yes. It'd be tricky
So
to
that's
balance.
tricky for tuning, right? If it's going to be that far, that spread.
Yes, and tricky for balance too. Yeah.
Right.
I noticed in this piece and in the one after it, the other one too, that it seems like when the melody dips down quite a bit, that what we see happening is this phenomenon that we're just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lead tends to get closer to the bass.
Yeah.
And then you have less space between the bass and the lead, and then a big spread between the bari and the tenor up top.
Yeah. It kind of depends on where the melody is. Yep, the way it falls. Yeah, when the melody is low like that, it's hard to shove the baritone note in between the bass and lead line. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't really quite do it.
Yeah. Mhm. And if the melody goes like that, then sometimes you don't have a choice but to do what she did. Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw several instances where they had the bass on the flat 7 and a dominant, either 7 or 9 chord. And it was a voice leading kind of a thing. It made just a very much better bass line.
Yeah. So show us what measure did you notice that?
Well, I've got measures 8 and 19.
Okay. Oh yeah. So in measure 8, yes, that's used. Do you see the contrary motion between the bass and the tenor on
Mhm.
I love you? That's
Yeah.
used, yeah, it's used a lot for that kind of reason. And so you'll notice, like, oh yes, they all have fermatas, but that's like a passing chord, because eventually you're going to get to the U chord that has the bass on the root. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good barbershop thing to know how to do and how to use it correctly in the right spots.
And I think you're very nice with the voice leading on it. You're exactly right. That's when it's used. I used to have years and years ago, if you know a person by the name of Sylvia Alsbury, she's sort of one of the mothers of the arranging
Yeah.
world too. And I was at an arranging thing with her one time, and she literally stomped her foot and said, "Never put the bass on the seventh. Never put the bass on the seventh." And I was like paranoid that I could never put the bass on seventh. And then I learned that there are things like these where it goes, "I love you." That it's okay to put the bass
It's
on seventh.
okay. Yeah.
Just do not tell Sylvia. So because she was just adamant about it, and I kept going. So then I would see these opportunities. I'm going, but I can't do that. And then finally decided you can't. Well, they always say, you have to know the rules in order to break them.
That's right. That's what she told me. Learn the rules first. Okay, now you can break.
I'm not looking to break them. I'm looking to understand them and see where there could be some flexibility in that.
Yeah.
As a general rule, do not do it. But
Yeah.
like you pointed out there, I love you. You don't stay on that for a long time, but it
Right.
made for a nice move, didn't it? With that
Mhm.
nice contrary motion. So it's a good use of it. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Good job. Cool.
And I know this is not part of it too, but I'm just gonna notice that we have like in measure 10 and 9 and 10, you got baby face, you got the cutest little baby face. It's like that's an old right, and I think a new right is gonna be baby face, baby face. You've got the cutest. Put something in there. Don't just let a chord hang out there for 9 years. Make do something with it. Make something fun in some of those places instead of just holding the chord. Because
Oh,
unless
put
you
in
have
the
tap
next one.
dancers, but
But you
I
got to
think
remember, this is in cut time. So sometimes for a lesser skilled group to try to go baby face with some other words might make it choppy for them, So
but
it's like,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
baby face, da da da. You've got the cutest. I'm
Oh,
just
wow.
saying, you can consider doing something to give some rhythmic variation, to give some interest to the song, even if it's unless you're going baby face. You've got the cutest little baby face. I think that's a little too
Yeah.
fast.
Yep,
Just look for opportunities maybe to put some interest in a song instead of you just holding it out there. Yeah. It's not a wrong. It's not anything wrong with it. It's just
Yeah, just
look for
another
opportunities.
idea. Yeah.
Look for opportunities. Okay.
Like on measure 14, what would you think of a bass walk up going through there at the end of that measure there?
Sure. Yeah, that's a possible. Baby face. There's not another one. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, something that just makes a little more interest to it than just holding that.
And always keep in
Particularly
mind, if
because-
you're going to have a bass go up like that, you got to make sure it makes a chord every time.
Oh,
Because
yeah, right.
Yeah. So just be aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you already know. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
that
you
the poor
do that
basses
within
have
the
somewhere
chord.
to.
Yeah, you do that within the chord. I mean, singing the notes, bum bum bum, or
Right.
bum
Yeah.
bum bum, or something that would be in the chord, of course. Yeah, but also to let a bass sit down on that B or on that low D is going to be asking a lot to
Yeah.
to make, as I always say, don't let your note sit there like a wet sock, or that's what Marge Bailey would say. Do something with it. So maybe baby face. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Okay.
It's a trade-off though, isn't it, in terms of places to breathe, particularly for the basses, yes, because there are sometimes limited opportunities in this song anyway. So if you're adding lots of movement like that into the next phrase, it might work for a chorus with chorus breaths, but would make it really difficult for quartets to have breathing opportunities.
No, you'd breathe right after you sang it. Baby face. You take the breath before you did your little doohickey woppy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's tricky.
That's a specific term, doohickey woppy.
Do you mind if we just go back to Donna's point about the basses on the 7? Because there was one that I wasn't sure what the purpose of it was, unlike the others that we've mentioned that had a purpose in terms of voice leading. Okay. If I've labeled the chords correctly, that is. In bar 81, on the second chord, which I believe is a C7 with the basses on the B flat, I couldn't work out why on that occasion we hadn't gone for a stronger voicing at the C7 with the basses on the tenors on the B flat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I had that on my notes too.
Yeah, would you say there's a reason for
Find
that?
and embrace. Well, yeah, it's just for the walking baseline. It doesn't do contrary motion
Yeah.
like the other one did, although it could have been, but she did a variety of that. To me, doing that still makes a walking bass. Your fond embrace, which is a nice little thing.
Emily, I think that's a really interesting thing. See what would happen if you took measure 81, if you took the first chord and put the tenor on the B flat and put the bass on the C,
Mhm.
and I don't know what that, yeah, I guess give the baritone the G, so that you would have the bass would go, I'm up heaven when I'm in your fond embrace. Then you'd have a whole walk. down.
Oh,
Oh,
that'd be
yeah.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
that would
so
be more
that-
secure, wouldn't it? In terms
Yeah.
of that B flat would then be more grounded.
And it would
Yeah.
be, and also if you look that the tenor sings the same note for 85 times.
Yeah.
I'm up in heaven when I'm in your fun. If you let the tenor go down to a B flat, she might not fall asleep.
Ah,
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
baritone, I'm up in heaven when I'm in your, it takes the baritone, and then you take away the opportunity for the baritones and the tenors to have that major second there in 81.
Mm.
So I think that's a good observation that
Yeah.
sometimes we can problem solve a little bit and say, how could we make this a little stronger? And I think in general, having one part sing the same note for like a long time, it's like, couldn't we give the tenor something else to do? So I mean that
You're a
one
tenor,
part-
aren't you?
I know, but I think that could help that little phrase there, and then you still have the nice walk down bass, and you
Yeah.
take away some of the angst of the big spread chord there between the bass, the baritone, with the baritone and the tenor
Right.
together.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
We
cool.
need more
It's
of a
always fun to
passing
find
thing.
things like this that we could go, even when a master is doing this, there may be another way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
For that one, you can 81. There's actually no real reason to even change the chord because the melody doesn't move. A simpler version is just keep it the same for both in and your.
Oh, you could, I
They're
guess.
just swapping baritone and bass, and there isn't really a strong reason for it except for variety, but it seems unnecessary.
I'm up in heaven when I'm in your fond embrace. Oh, you mean to keep in the way it is, you mean? Or to put the bass on
Saying
C?
the second chord in 81 is the same as the first chord. It's just
Oh.
baritone and bass swapping, and
Right,
it's not really necessary.
yeah.
The only problem is that you have the basses then that are gonna sing the same, in your fond, see, let me try and find it. In your fond embrace, where they're gonna have a lot more success going in your fond embrace
Yeah,
instead of in your fond.
yeah. Makes it easier for the singers.
Yeah, and I think gives a little variety to it too with that. It's not a wrong, it's just what works better. And in this case, I think it would be better to have the walking bass and
Yeah, it's like so many choices. Ah!
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, so where are we on this now? Possible problem areas that we have, or in weak voicing, I think we talked about the weak voicing. Did we look at? Yeah, we did.
Last week, one of you ladies had mentioned that Joni Bescos writes pieces that are particularly difficult for berries. And when I looked at the berry line on this, I said, thank God I'm not a berry. Thank God I'm not a berry. Because
There's a lot of
that
accidentals.
I thought this was a very, very difficult piece for berries. And I also found several incidences of those consecutive seconds that I thought made it really challenging.
Yeah. It was, yes, it'd be a lot more difficult to pull off than it appears on the paper. Yeah.
What do you mean? Show me exact seconds that you're talking about.
So I see that happening at measure 32 with I did the two together. I did the berries and the leads. They have consecutive seconds right there.
Yes, yes.
And And then I see it happening again for, it measures 73 through, into 74, also between those same two parts. Poor heart, the tide into, and then is jump. That's between the, Barry and the lead. And I saw it once again between the two notes of the last chord of 91 and the first chord of 92. And I also saw it in the in measure 84. With I and did.
Mhm.
Those are tough. Consecutive major seconds are tough for singers.
Yeah, if it's just dipping down and dipping back up, they can handle that okay. But
Mhm.
yeah. Like
So
if
it's like when there's three or more notes, it's a little harder, right? Yeah.
yeah. Very good.
I'm glad you pointed those out because sometimes we get those and we don't maybe go back and listen. It sounds great on the piano, and that's a thing to really learn, is it? As arrangers, it sounds great on the piano, and then we give it to the singers. It's like going, well, this didn't sound that great because they're struggling with those really close voiced chords with those little major seconds. You get it one time, and then if you go over to the next chord and you have it again, it's it's difficult. It's very difficult. So I think she has this is not, it looks easy, but it's easy to play in the piano. Maybe. But
Yeah.
it's difficult, but that's good. Those are good points. I'm glad you're bringing them up. I think there's another difficult voicing, like 35 to 36, fell in love, but just it all sorts of it's just simply took the chord from 36 and revoiced it, and that ostensibly should be easy because it's the same chord you just heard redone, but just to get that tuned exactly right, maybe
Right.
when you go to that big open spread chord after this little one, you might want to take a look at that maybe width could have stayed.
Isn't that a tritone in the baritone there?
Yes, right.
That was
Yeah.
one thing I marked. We needed to change something there anyway.
Yeah, so, you could just simply maybe consider not going to the big chord, as you're going to keeping the width in more of a closed, it starts to open up again. But, you go from closed to big open to open, open, open. Just, it's not wrong. It's just gonna be a little difficult,
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
So can I ask, please, what we see happening at measure 27, where the bass comes in first with the word, and then everybody else follows in with I'm up in, and we see that happening again at a couple of different measures. Is there a term for that? A word that defines that phenomenon?
You mean that the bass has the downbeat?
Yes, and then everybody else comes in, or even any other part having that downbeat.
Yeah.
Is that an echo?
Yeah, it's kind of like a push, like a bass push or an echo or something. It's not really a push, but
Yeah.
kind of like has that kind of flavor where they come in first.
I'm
I
not
call
sure.
it a lead in, but I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's how I think of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a correct term for that. Oh,
But it's very creative. I
yeah.
think it's nice.
It is, it's nice.
Yeah.
Lots of times just have the bass, I just call the, the bass and the bass and the downbeat, and everybody else comes in, gives a rhythmic interest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime you give the basses anything to do, the audience loves it. Isn't that right? I mean,
Yeah.
if anybody else sang that part, it would be like, ho hum, but the bass is like going, yeah, it's a bass.
That's funny.
I did a song for my quartet that, and I changed it was in Lulu, and I just changed it and gave it, instead of the traditional thing, and I made it in the, let's see, well, you can tell all your pets, and I gave the bass, that, let's see, tell all your pets, let's see, redheads and blondes, and I know, and nobody else sings, and they're going, what, shouldn't we be singing? I said, no, because basically it's redheads and blondes, and we come in blondes and brunettes, and everybody will love it, It's going, because it is, it's what, you do things to make people, don't they? I mean, don't we all just love it when the bass takes something like that? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
If they give it the baritone, redheads and blondes would not be exciting,
Mm.
right? So it made a nice opportunity, and I said, if it doesn't, it is low, but I said she can do it. If not, you could put in there redheads and blondes and brunettes. But it was cool that she could do it that, and so yeah, try some things like that. It's fun.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see.
Did we talk about embellishments? We talked about some of them.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I like the little bass lead duet that she put in the of at the end, measure 88.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just like that. And I like the little string of tension chords that she did at the end of the tag there. The diminished, the four, I love that 4 minor 6 into the 1, but you see, she stretched it out by putting the 2 minor 7 in between. I thought
Are
that
you
was,
talking about 95?
yeah, 94 and 95.
Yeah.
Those 4 tension chords that then resolve. I like that.
Yep. She was good at that. Yep.
I have a question. Measure 44-45. We've got a 3-part. The harmonies do an I know thing. It's not an echo. How would you identify that embellishment? So the lead's just holding the word go, and then they're
Yeah.
filling in extra lyrics. What would you call that? What kind of embellishment would that be?
An echo, wouldn't it be?
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so even if
Long
it's different
ago,
lyrics?
I know. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's like a I don't know. It's the same thing as an echo, and the words are,
Okay.
the words are
Are different, but the
doing
words rhyme. Yeah.
yeah.
So it functions as an echo. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So an echo does not have to be the same exact words.
Not necessarily, but it should
Okay.
have the same vowel sound.
But should have the same vowel sounds. Is that what you just said, Jean?
Well, yeah, you want it to end in the same vowel.
Okay.
So you have long ago, you want whatever the echo, if you change the words, should end in an O sound,
Okay.
which it does. Go, I know. Yeah.
And but the chord is repeated. That makes it the echo, does it? It's go, I know. So that's part of that too.
It's a clever way to do an echo by
Yeah, it is. It's very funny.
lyrical variety. So you wouldn't want to go ago. Oh yeah, because it wouldn't go together.
Last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the bass. Another thing with the basses, but like her measure 31, in your fond embrace. That's always a winner.
Is that considered difficult for basses to do those octave jumps like that? Like,
It shouldn't
or is
be.
that just a normal thing?
Basses are used to doing octaves and fifths, so it should be all right.
I sing bass and I don't think that's particularly hard.
Right, yeah.
I
Basses
don't
are
think
used
it
to
is.
that. Mhm.
It's better than singing up a minor 7, which is why they do it. Get up to that. It's to get up to that higher note that you want.
And actually they're meeting the baritones there, which is kind of nice. That would,
Yes.
and then splitting off. Yeah, that's nice.
Mhm. Yeah, cool. It's a nice
And you
effect.
notice that we're talking about maybe some difficult places. I don't know if you noticed, but 28, that Heaven when that's one whale of a jump for those baritones. Because you have to kind of circumvent that the leads now have, the chord, the fabric of the chord changed entirely when the leads went up to that half step there, but that, heaven when I'm in, that's,
Mm.
you need, the baritones need to be kind of coached into that, and let them know ahead of time, or work on that kind of thing, because that can really throw off a tuning for everything.
Yeah, tricky. Yep.
And it could be, just could be, that you could have avoided that.
Hmm?
You could have avoided that by bringing the tenor down to the G and the baritone down to, no, you couldn't. You
But
couldn't.
just you could put the bass on the B and the baritone on the F sharp.
That's true.
Mm.
Even when I'm
Yep, you could, on the in and then go down to the other one. See, there you go. Problem solving. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let's see.
So when you're doing an arrangement, I always thought it sounded great on the piano. But then when I get all finished with my arrangement, I go and sing through every part, especially like the baritones. The baritones are really good at jumping around, but it's like if I can't immediately sing a crazy jump, because I'm pretty good at that, then I know that's going to be a trouble spot for the group.
Mm.
So, and just like Judy was saying, that could be a trouble spot. I would probably discover that when I tried to sing it, because when I would get there, I probably would mess up and miss that B on in because of the jump. Yeah. So that's always a good thing to help when you're finished with your arrangement, to sing each line separately. And I don't mean just playing it on the piano, actually sing it, and even if it's not in your range, you can put it so it's in your range, but to sing it, to see if there are any awkward jumps like that. Baritones are pretty good at awkward jumps, but some of them are like too crazy. Yeah.
I recently sat in on a coaching session with a very good quartet, and I was shocked. I don't know if this is enlightening to anybody, but I did not know this. I was really shocked that this coach wanted the baritone, she wanted Barry, to change the quality of her voice based upon where her note was relative to whether she was closer to the bass or whether she was closer to the tenor. She wanted her to modify the quality of her voice throughout the whole thing, which astonished me.
I'm a baritone, and that's what we're taught to do.
Yeah, singing in the cone. Yes.
Yeah.
It's more advanced.
I didn't realize that, but that even compounds the difficulty of that Barry part.
Yeah.
This is why baritones learn their music so quickly, because they got a lot more to do than just got other things to work on.
I tell that it's the level, like when you sing in choruses, it depends on the level of your chorus. You don't worry too much about it if you're in a lower level chorus, but as you get into a higher level chorus, that becomes really important.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we did what did we not talk about? Well, there was the one key change, and it was basically just everybody up a half step, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I
not
thought that
everybody up
was-
a half step. The
I
basis.
thought that was difficult to sing the
Key
lead
one.
line. I thought the key change was difficult for the lead. So I actually would prefer the second last chord to be a E flat 7. I don't know, maybe it would sound better the way it's written, but I think it's easier to sing if the last chord on, something, if that chord went to an E flat 7, I think it would be easier for the lead to get their ear into the new key. I found singing the lead by itself was
What measure? Oh, okay. All right.
so
You're
76.
talking, okay.
The last chord is 76. I think I found it hard to sing the lead line, and actually found the bass hard as well.
clumsy. I'm looking at the keys. Oh, no A flat. Okay. You sure
And I
have-
think you have a very good point there. Something I think that's a difficult key change. You know,
Yes.
when you don't have an anchor tone, it's harder for everybody. If there's not one voice, it's going to carry through to the next key. And this doesn't have one, does it?
Mm.
Right.
And that E flat 7 is sort of, they've already set you up sort of ahead of time, so you can start getting your ear into it. And then the A7 brings you back to the old key a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It does. I think so too. So you're talking about, Abby, you were talking about keeping the basses on the B flat, right?
Yeah, so the final chord of 76, I would go B flat, G, E flat, D flat. So you'd have to change the lead note as well.
Well, you don't have to. No, the leads. That's the only thing you'd have to do. So that you'd have the B flat, a B flat or a E flat 7 for something. Only
On the thin, yeah.
no, it is not an E flat 7. It's a diminished. No, it's not diminished. It's a.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the chord that's spelled wrong, but no, I would change that chord. I would actually change the chord to a E flat 7.
What is that chord? What am I trying to say here? I'm just playing it and I'm going, if you played B flat in the bass,
Yep.
E natural in the lead, G in the baritone, and D flat.
No, I would, but I would. I
It's a
personally would
diminished chord,
change-
right?
Diminished
I would
chord.
change I would change the lead to an E flat.
You could
On
do
where?
Thin.
but if you didn't change it, Abby, you'd have
E flat.
you'd
So
have E
why
natural
is
sounds fine.
yeah?
The E natural sounds fine. But then you have, you're right, because the A in the bass takes it out of that key. Yeah, it makes it more difficult, doesn't it? I never even had thought of that before.
Do you know
This-
what's so unusual about this key change? The key change doesn't really happen at 77. It happens like in 75 almost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's why I thought it was weird to bring yourself out of that. I feel like you should keep in that
Because
new.
yes, so
Your ear
have
wants to stay there.
started something is already in the new key,
Yeah.
and so that's why those chords were used, because that's just the normal chord progression. And so it's you sure have started is where the key change actually takes place. Because if you're thinking of the melody, my poor heart is jumping, it you sure have started. That's starting the new
Yes,
key.
that is the key change. So you'd want to keep it there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's why that chord, that last chord is contrary to keeping it in the chord.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting.
So are you, you're saying now, change the lead to an E flat, not the E? Is that what you're saying now?
I wouldn't.
Wait,
I wouldn't. I would just make the B flat, the bass in B flat to keep it in the key. So you sure have started something, babe. That keeps it in the key. Let me play it the way it is.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
go back a couple of measures.
That's what's there now. And Abby would like. And I think it would be.
So to me, the reason she used the chords the way she did is because that's the chord progression in the old key. You should have started something is the way the regular chord progression was if you weren't changing keys, you know, and that's all in the new key. And the other one is, to me, tripping into the new key because we're already in the new key. We're already in the new key at have started.
Right.
So
So you think the way it's written would be the right way then?
yes, because it's following the same harmonic patterns as the first, earlier in the song where it says you sure have started
Right.
something. Yeah.
But so it really, what I was just playing there, none of those were really wrong.
Right. Correct. You are
It would
correct.
be
None
a
of them are wrong.
matter of your preference of what you, like you said, it felt like it went into the key easier with either change the lead note or change the bass note to keep it in the B flat to the B flat to the A flat. But I think it is, we want to make it as easy as we can to hear where the key changes, and it looks like there's several options there, right?
Yeah. That's a tricky key change because it really is in the new key sooner than what we're used to hearing for a key change.
Yeah, really. So, okay. Well, let's see. We need to, I think we pretty much had the high point of that. We haven't talked about that. The high point of the song. What do you think? It's a
I
trick
seem to
question.
have a terrible trouble finding the high points of these songs.
What's that?
I have
hard.
terrible trouble finding the high points.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This
I've written
is a
down
tough one.
multiple question marks, and then R93, and then multiple question marks.
What do
I
you
think
got?
the stomp. I think the stomp. has-
Where?
The stomp, right at, Fond Embrace at 83 into 84. To me, that just seems like the most exciting part where it should be the loudest,
So when we say a high point, you mean that chord on the start of the stomp? That at 84?
Yeah, Fond Embrace, and then pulling it out into
okay.
the stomp. But I've been wrong before.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking when you said the stomp, but you mean that that chord,
Yeah.
right?
That whole section, moving it in. I don't see
get
it
a
as.
whole section, Elizabeth. You have to pick one chord.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the climax. Are we
Yeah.
talking about the climax of the song?
I'm
Yeah,
just
so
giving you
the
heads up.
stomp is building to the climax. So where is the climax? When we say high point, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a high voiced chord. It happens that way a
Yes.
lot, but it doesn't have to happen that way. So you're right. The stomp is leading into the climax of the song. So where is the climax?
88.
88.
Yep.
On-
Love.
Okay. I fell in love. Okay, that's a candidate. And
Okay.
and what else?
Can we say face in the alternate ending?
Yeah.
That is big chord, isn't it?
Literal high point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So high point doesn't necessarily mean it's
No.
high voice. Yeah, but that's
But it-
perfect that way.
But
Yeah.
it could, yeah.
Yeah. And to me, is a big hint when they have the fermata right there over love,
Mhm.
Keyword. Yeah.
And if let me just add something here, that if we put
Oh yeah, do a swipe. Yeah.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
like there,
Do
then
that,
you'd
do
have a
that.
true high point and a big moment. It's just that it kind of was it wants to be there. It's the right word. It's the right place and everything, but it looks like it would be nice to put a big swipe there, and then you'd have a real high point, wouldn't you?
True.
You
You would.
Yeah.
But it might be difficult for those singers at this level to pull that off, I mean, it depends on the group. Yeah. Yeah. The point out.
Would you just move Barry's and tenors?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The
Yes.
leads
Yes.
and the basses would post, and the baritone would go up to the A and the tenor up to the E flat.
Yep.
Oh, that would be really interesting because before then you have the buried lead duet. And then it switches out to be two other parts being another duet, right?
Where's that now?
Yes.
In the climax there on measure 88.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. It's kind of like a duet thing with the lead and bass. Yeah, and then, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Followed by another duet between, what'd you say, Barry and tenor?
yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a duet.
Well,
It would
yeah, it
just
wouldn't
be
be
a
considered
swipe
a
or
duet.
slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Those would
yeah,
be the
not-
moving parts, yes.
the moving parts, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not really long enough to be a duet, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm with you, Liz. It's difficult to find sometimes the high point of the song, and that should be the job of the arranger for sure. You know,
Yeah.
And that's why when you talk about the Barry's going up to the A flat, that actually then solves the problem because their next note is A natural instead of having to do that cross relationship.
Right,
I think it's already an A in the tenor.
yeah. So that could help a lot, yeah.
I didn't quite understand that, Liz. Would you repeat it, please?
So originally the leads are singing A flat and then the Barrys would have to sing A natural straight afterwards, which is really tough.
And where
that
is this?
puts Bar
Where is this?
88, bar 88, the third chord.
I think tenor's already on an A natural, so they'd
I
be
think
swiping
that
out
if
an A natural.
if you did, Liz, if you did that chord, that's
Oh yeah, they are. Sorry.
Oh,
you
it
would
is.
sing with the way it's written. You would move that. You would leave the tenors on the E flat and change your melody. Love
Right, yeah.
with your and put the leads on the F where they are, and the tenors in the E flat, the baritones in the A natural,
A natural.
and
Yeah.
and the basses would stay on the C, and then they'd go to the next note. You know? Wait. Sorry. Yeah. Instead of, so you would just change revoice that chord, and then it would be it'd be easier to sing actually, like you say. Then the baritones don't get a tritone.
But the way she's done it avoids a cross relationship then between bass and tenor.
So
Except
you're
that-
saying change that whole note at the beginning of the measure. Is that what you're saying?
there is no cross, wait, first, there's no cross relation because the tenor is already on an A natural.
Yeah.
No, so we changed the second last chord and the bass is on C, which is better for their voice leading. You then have a cross relationship between the basses on C and then the tenors on the C sharp and the A7.
Okay, if we Jean, you always have this thing up so we can do it on there. How can we do it?
Oh,
Why
we can do
why
that.
aren't
I
you
can do that.
doing my
Hold on.
work here for me?
Okay, I can
So
do that.
if all you have to do is put the tenor goes up from the A natural to the, and it stays
Yeah.
on the E flat.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you just take the tenor up to the E flat and then leave it on E flat for width,
Yep.
tenor from A natural to E flat on love on.
Oh, you want me to write it in? Oh, okay. Well, this is not in finale, but I can.
Oh, okay.
I can
So,
look that up
if we're
for
looking
you.
at it right, yeah, if we're looking at it right now, I don't have the pointer, the A flat, the tenor goes from A natural to E flat, and it stays on E flat for width, and then, right? And the lead would be love, and it stays on F with your pretty babe, right? And the baritone goes from E flat to A natural, and it stays there with your pretty, right? And the bass goes love with your pretty, yeah.
So the only issue with that is that you've got a cross relationship between bass is C on with and tenor C sharp on your.
Correct. That would create that. Yes.
Which I think, which I assumed is why she voiced with it that way, so the tenors avoided that.
I-
Mm.
And the tenor would be going up a tritone, which might not be too hard on a swipe.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's it. On a swipe. Yeah.
Not so bad.
Yeah. And you could we could change it to just repeat that chord.
Yep.
With your pretty baby. It doesn't have to have that next chord for your, you just maybe repeat that chord and then you would solve all those problems.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a melody line at that part. It's you've been playing with the whole
with
thing
your
on
pretty
12/8 and
well,
stop, and it's at the end of a song we take those liberties and change things. Oftentimes we change, the like the alternate ending. That's not a melody. That's just a, done for the flourish of the final of the song to make it interesting. So you change a love with your pretty, which is already hard to sing. Love with your pretty baby. That's not a violation of, oh my goodness, you changed the melody. No,
right, right.
whatever.
It's doable. Yep.
Variation on a theme. Okay. So, good. Do we have any other questions about this song? Do we need to talk about? We spent a long time on it.
Yeah. Well, it's a tricky one. Yeah.
It is tricky. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So we're going to Red Robin now? I mean, is
Yes.
everybody else ready to go to Red Robin? Okay.
Coffee, water break.
Oh, sure. We could do that.
Good idea.
Yep.
Good
All
idea.
right. Be back in a few.
Okay.
I have my coffee right with me.
Aha.
Are you all packed, Jean?
Gonna go take this 5-minute break to finish packing.
Maybe so. So Abby, do you guys do much cruising, or what do you do with your boat?
Yeah, we're always on anchor, always. Like we live
Mhm.
aboard.
And you're on anchor, living aboard on anchor?
Yep.
Really?
We like to save money by not going to marinas. I'll just change my camera. I can show you around. Let me just figure out this background and then I can show you where I am. No background filter. Okay. So I'm in my cabin and then let's try to turn this around. Whoops. That was rotate.
Oh no, did you capsize?
I did do rear cam. Oh gosh. So it's been kind of crappy weather lately. We're just kind of hanging out lately, but yeah, usually we'd be going around different places, and there's always maintenance stuff like that
Right.
to do. But
Oh yeah. So you guys are in catamaran, right?
yeah,
Oh, I love catamarans. I don't have a whole lot of experience with. We have a monohull. So
this is where we are now,
yeah.
out in the bay.
Which bay are you in there?
We're sort of between Paihia and Opua.
Okay.
At the Bay of Islands. Bay of Islands is like that would be the main entry if you came into New Zealand. That's usually where you'd enter. And
Uh-huh.
it's sort of a boaty area, so you can see lots of boats out. Not the best weather
Yeah.
today. That's a mooring field, so those guys are sort of the locals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long do you usually stay in one place?
Oh, it depends. Depends on a lot. A long time, I'd say. You sort of
Yeah.
if it feels stable and like it's a good spot for the current wind direction. Sometimes we'll stay a couple weeks. Other times we'll move every few days. But we try to settle in and Well, here we've been going by dinghy to shore because we do have our car here, so we've been doing a few chores, like the boring stuff, like the hardware stores and all that stuff.
Right.
And then
Okay.
I want to get more sort of cruising more, but the weather hasn't been good lately. It's been kind of just overcast and, you know, I really want to go snorkeling, but it's not clear water right now.
Oh,
Are you a diver as well or just snorkel?
No, I haven't learned to dive, even though we do have all the gear. I should
Uh-huh.
learn, but I'm a little bit scared too.
You know what? I dove twice on my honeymoon, and that was enough for me. That was enough. I don't want to do it, but I sail with people that dive all the time. This one guy that I sail with, he does a lot of lobster fishing,
Yeah.
and he dives at night. He dives at night out here at the Channel Islands.
Oh my God.
To me, it's crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I really should, but yeah, the snorkeling's enough for now for me to, I grew up
Yeah.
inland, so the ocean's still kind of not new to me, but I didn't grow up with it, so it's not like the locals who, they were on their water their whole life. So I'm kind of just snorkeling's enough of sort of a, facing my fear.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I went last summer when I snorkeled at Catalina Islands. I had these two huge stingrays that swam underneath me, and it startled the living daylights out of me at first. But then I thought, because just the whole idea about that one guy that got killed by the stingrays scared me to death. They were not that close though. They were like maybe 20 feet under me. But in the water, when you're looking, 20 feet looks like 4.
That's great. Okay. So we're doing Red Robin. Where'd Jean go? Where are you, girlfriend? So, but I'm staying entirely out of this conversation. I want you all to tell me about the form of the piece. Oh, there she is. Go ahead.
Yeah. We took a little snack break.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay. So who wants to talk about the form and
Right.
the components?
Here we go again.
I did ABAC.
Anybody else have something other than that?
Yep.
That's what I put as well.
Yeah, this one was a little easier to decipher. Yeah.
I had that as well,
Yep.
Yep.
but I wasn't sure.
Okay. What was it that made it unsure for you? Tell us.
I can't remember. I've got a question mark next to it. I think it was the same thing, that there were melody differences. There were slight differences, but should I still call it A? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Rather than calling it C. They were from memory.
Well, I said I was going to stay out of it, but I am going to say this one was a lot easier to identify, wasn't it?
Yes. That's what I was thinking.
This is clearly 8 bars of A, and then it's clearly 8 bars of B.
Something different. Yes.
And then you were asking Liz about A, if it was A or if it had enough difference, didn't you? To be another, not A, is that what you were saying, or?
No, I called it A, but I put
Yeah.
a question mark out next to it because I was so used to Inform just working specifically on the melody, and I'd been taught before, like if the melody's different, that it's not the same. So I'm just trying to get my head around what's okay to be different.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's something that might help you. If the melody, when you go back to A, if the melody starts the same as the first A, then that's probably going to be A again. And
Okay.
there's a good possibility that
There you go.
the tail end of that second A, the notes
Yeah.
might be slightly different. But if they
Okay.
start out the same,
Yeah.
then it's going to be.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Would you also say, Jean,
Oh, sorry.
or would you also say that when the rhythm is identical, even though
There
the
you go.
melody is different, is that support for identifying it as the same section?
No, because when we're trying to identify the form, it's strictly on the melodic notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could have the same
Really?
rhythm and be totally different notes, and it wouldn't be called A again.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think what she's saying, are you not saying that what Jean is saying, that da 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 was the same, and then the very next part of that is different notes, but the same rhythm, so it followed the same pattern that we had in A before, only it has slightly different notes. I think
That's precisely, yes, that is exactly what I'm asking. I'm saying, is that
Oh.
supporting,
That's-
is that supporting to the concept that it is indeed another A section?
exactly.
Oh, yes. I misunderstood what you said. I thought you were
Oh,
thinking
okay.
about the beginning of the section
No.
A. Yes, but
Okay.
yes, you're right.
So that makes it a little easier, like what Liz was saying, when it's going like, all of a sudden it's going da 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 da. But on the other hand, the other one was going ba 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 da da da. It was almost like the same thing up a third, wasn't it?
Mm.
You know,
Yes.
same rhythm pattern. So it had the same feel
Mhm.
of A as,
Mhm.
as the first
Yeah.
first 8 bars. So
Right.
yeah,
But the big clue is if they start the same with the
Exactly,
same
yep.
notes. Yeah.
yep, yep. There you go. Okay, cool. That was a nice, easy one. Thank you very much,
Yay.
Robin. Um,
That was quick.
Yeah, we
Yay,
got
we
one,
love
yay.
All right. And the melody then was kind of like the same as the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
On that note,
steps.
this is one of the, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is one of the few ones that actually has a melody transfer. So there's one note that goes to the bass.
Ah,
In these so far,
Uh-huh.
we haven't really had melody transferred to anyone. That was one of the questions: is does the melody go to anyone but the lead?
Yeah.
So for that 1 chord in 8, that's it.
And I wondered why they did that.
Yeah, me too.
Because that B's not, I mean, the lead goes down to the B all the time in this song. Because
So
it does
where
give
is
them an octave jump.
what measure is that?
Eight.
It's 8.
Okay, measure 8.
Oh, in the
Well,
verse.
probably 'cause
Yeah.
they didn't want to have the lead on the lowest note of the chord. If the lead went down to the melody, then the bass would have to be on the 5th, which is okay. But it might be stronger having it on the.
Okay. That's a thought.
So if you kept that in the melody, where, because that's a B chord there in measure 8, and B is the melody note, where would you put the bass if you kept that B in measure 8? If you kept the melody in the lead line, where would the bass go?
Have to go down to the F sharp, which is okay. It's an acceptable voicing.
Yeah.
Or a D. A D. You'd have to put her on a D,
Oh
right?
yeah, true. Yep.
Why not a 3-part chord? A 3-note chord.
Aces and leads stay on the B
Mhm.
and the triad
Mhm.
above.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you ever put a bass with a lead in unison
Sure,
on
why
one
not?
note?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the same exact note is what
Yes.
I'm talking about. You
Yes.
can do that, huh? Okay.
If you think about the lyric line here, it makes it kind of interesting because you go, gonna pack my cares and whistle and blow them all away. And so the whole thing comes down to like a 3-note chord with the basses and the leads on the same note. It kind of like it's blow them all away. It seems like it goes nicely into, it gives you an opportunity to do that. I think I would definitely use that as a good alternative to just
Mhm.
giving the basses the melody. Either one is okay. Or you could just have the basses sing the note by themselves. Blow them all away.
Away,
Once again, another
away.
chance for everybody to go, oh, the bass got the note.
Yeah.
But I think the 3-part chord, don't you think the 3-part chord, Jean, would be good in there?
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Blow them all away for the tenors and blow them all away for the baritones. Easy for everybody to sing and get you out of a pickle.
Yes, but now is that too low for the tenors to be on an F sharp? Sometimes you complain about the tenors
I do
being too low.
complain about that, Jean. Thank you for noticing that.
So it's like,
I don't know.
Especially if the
I
next
think
measure
that on
goes
that,
up,
whenever,
yeah.
it's not gonna be a big chord. Blow them all away. You can sing that real lightly. It's
Yeah.
not really a problem for him. If you're singing a whole line of notes and you expect the tenors to bounce back and forth from really low notes,
Mhm.
that's a problem. This one, finishing a phrase, I think isn't a problem, is it?
Right, right. So one of the things, who was, I forget which person said it about when I said, where would the bass go? They said, oh, they could go on the F sharp or the D, but this is the end of the phrase. At
Yeah.
the end of the phrase, you want to always come back to the home tone,
Mhm.
you know? And so, because this part of the song is in B minor. Yeah. So you would want the foundation of the chord to be a B, which I can see why they would put the bass on the B like that. Instead of to put the bass on the F sharp below that or the D below that is going to feel weaker and feel weak for the end of a phrase. So you want to really make it come back to that B. Yeah. So that could be a reason.
As far as I can see, the only then issue with the triad option would be that the tenors would have to navigate an F sharp up to a D at the beginning of the next phrase.
Right. Yeah. So that would be a hard thing. Yeah. Or you could do like blow them all away, away. What if I, do a little echo thing. Away. What if I, So, but I can see why they put that bass. I can see why she put the bass on the B there, because you don't really
So,
want
like,
it.
it's not a melody that people would really know. Like this might be,
Oh.
this could be another original intro. It's not like the audience is gonna be confused by it. The
Yeah,
melody-
it's a verse.
Yeah.
It's not a verse. It's a verse, and we can play more little games with a verse or an intro than we can with a chorus, where we would lose the melody possibly if it didn't go to another part. Another part can take the melody, but generally for a phrase, not just one note. But once again, it's a verse, and it's kind of like you're just getting their attention. So I think you have a lot of options there. It's not like we've thrown away the melody or we've taken it away, but I think you have a lot of options there.
Right.
I've got different music to what you've got. It's no wonder I'm so confused.
Oh, uh-oh.
Got Calvin?
What do you got?
Who's the arranger on yours?
Oh, I've
Dot
got for
Calvin.
Young Women in Harmony. It's Dot Calvin and it's Harry Woods, but it's Young Women in Harmony, and it's got
Oh,
two
no.
treble cleps, and it's driving me crazy.
Oh,
And it's
no.
not the same arrangement, and it's not. I haven't bought the same arrangement.
Oh,
no,
wow.
it is. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
I couldn't work out why the bass was on a B and mine it's on a D.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a different
Okay.
key, of course.
Yeah,
That could be a
yeah.
side project. It could be a side
Wow.
project analyzing young women versus women.
Yeah. Anyway, no wonder I'm confused. I understand now why I'm confused.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, listen, I'm going to try to send you the right version so you'll have it. So, oh my goodness. So keep going, Judy, and I'm going to send her the correct
Okay,
version.
I'm gonna suggest another idea. Once again, just an idea. In measure 7, you could, with something like this, particularly because it's a verse, you could make the lead and the bass have a little duet, so that would go like yeah. Am I right? Yeah. What am I? Oh, sorry, key of D. Sorry. Oh, sorry, dear. Well, sorry. So have the lead and the bass sing. I'm sorry, I did such a terrible job of that. Here we go again. And have the other two parts come in that leads us to. Right?
Cool.
So I think that's a kind of a creative solution to do, a little duet thing there. Once again, it's not a familiar thing, so we've given the melody to the basses, but the leads are still there, and then the other two parts come in, it gives it some variety. Just a thought. Okay.
I think I just sent it. Now I'm thinking, who was talking? It was Liz. Correct? That said she had the wrong version, or did I get the wrong
Yes.
person?
Yes.
Okay.
Liz Ha.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I'm listening more than seeing, Okay, I think I just sent you this version so that you can
Oh,
have
okay. Thank you.
it. Mhm. Okay, so I wasn't paying attention since I was sending that. Where are we now?
Added,
We are. Oh, that particular thing you're looking at, if everybody is following with me, what we would do is that on measure 8, the bass and the lead would sing those two notes, and the tenor and the baritone would sing it after. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes.
You know, then you could do something else with the next note. So they would just not sing. They would have a rest and then come in a note. Maybe make it interesting. So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
solution.
So where are we now? Then we are.
All right.
Oh, the harmonies. Yeah.
So this has a lot of minor chords, especially, on this first page here, which is the verse. So if they're saying, how come this can be a good song for contest if it's got all these minor chords?
Well, it's lots of sevens, and I put the whole verse has a very minor feel, but it actually contrasts really well with what's to come. And what's to come is actually very simple and repetitive. So I think in this case, it's appropriate to have a minor section because it ends up ultimately becoming quite a major feel.
Right. Very good. Very good. And because, I would say like 3/4 of the song is in the major mode. And it's just the beginning that's in the minor mode. So that's why we can get away with that. Oops. What happened here? Come on, get back. Where did it go? Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry. There we go. All right. Yeah.
I'm having trouble with that last chord in measure 7.
Okay.
Whatever is that chord? I'm wondering if I'm just not seeing something.
In
I
measure
called it
7,
F sharp augmented.
Yeah, the 2 F sharps and then a D and then an A sharp. Oh, that's an augmented. Yes, that's a D augmented, right? But we've got the third doubled there, right? No, is it a
You can double any note in an augmented. So technically it's a D. Just the way it's spelled. But if you play
The
it on
root's
piano,
double. The root is
on the
double.
piano, any of those notes could be the root. If you play the notes, they're all equal.
Wait, are we talking? What chord are we talking about there? What am I
Final
missing?
chord in bar
Chord
7.
of 7.
My cheat sheet that I have says that you can only double the root, that you shouldn't double the other
Yes.
notes in an augmented
mine?
chord.
Mine says that too. Yeah.
Yes. But you can build this chord in several different ways. You could, or you could do, let's see.
Right. So if the lead was spelled with the C sharp, then it would be
Yes.
following that rule. It's a spelling error if you want to follow that rule.
If the lead was spelled with a what?
No,
A
no,
C
wait.
sharp and
Are we talking about?
oh, sorry.
okay.
No, I'm wrong. Never mind. F sharp.
So
No, sorry, I was wrong. F.
so it's an augmented F sharp then, isn't it? It's an
an
augmented
F,
F sharp.
it's an F sharp augmented chord, and
Right.
the D should really be labeled as a C double sharp
Double sharp.
to be spelled correctly. Yeah.
That's too hard for leads.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
because the F sharp is doubled, it's an F sharp augmented chord. Because yes, you should only double the root in an augmented chord. And that's why you can get away with that. It's just spelled incorrectly. Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, so sorry, can I just clarify? So maybe not the root. You should only double the bass. I think that's a different concept. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but what
Where's
does
what you
that
said.
little cheat sheet say? It says the in an augmented chord you should double the what? What's it say? Who's got that
Root.
paper out?
Mine says root.
Double the root.
Yeah, the root.
Yeah.
I'm saying that orally, and anything could be the root. It's like a diminished chord. Diminished
Yes,
second chord.
anything could be
Anything
the
Diminished.
orally can be the root, but we spell it stacked third. So I'm sort of arguing that in an augmented chord, I'm just wondering whether that would end up being the bass. Maybe not necessarily. I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah. In a way, you're kind of right. Yeah. The way this is spelled on this one, it's really a D
De-augmented,
augmented.
de-augmented.
Yeah.
And isn't
Yeah.
that weird that they put an F sharp, they put a courtesy for the baritone, but not the bass? That's weird too.
You're right. There should be a courtesy for the bass one also.
Why is there even a courtesy on the?
Well, I mean, the baritone had an F natural back in the measure
Oh,
before.
actually,
The
oh
bass.
wait, no. F sharp's in the key signature. No, we don't.
Right.
Yeah, you do not need that courtesy accidental there.
Okay.
Yeah,
The,
that's kind of
the new rule, the new rule is if you only need a courtesy if the note immediately before it is the natural. That's so since before it is an E, the F natural is way back in the other measure.
Right.
So if F sharp was the first, if the baritones had an F sharp on the word blow, then you put the courtesy accidental. But you really don't need it because there are other notes in between. Very confusing, yeah.
And so why are you saying this? Why are you saying this is really a D augmented?
Well, the way it is spelled right now, it's D, F sharp, A sharp.
Okay, just
And-
because of the way it's spelled.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But if it was so if you're doubling the root, then the lead note should say a C double sharp instead of a D.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but back in the day, they didn't use and there's two different philosophies on it. I'm always spell the chord right, but there are other arrangers that say no, make it easier for the singer. People will look at a C double sharp and go, what the heck is that? Oh, I know what a D is, so they would do it like that. But my thinking is we're trying to we should spell the chords correctly and teach them that a C double sharp is the same as a D. Yeah,
Or you could just say she's incorrectly doubled the third.
that's true.
And that's less of a transgression than misspelling.
Yeah.
And if you look at, there's a trouble, we haven't got that section of what we talk about, but in measure 7, it's a very troublesome bass line. Blow them all away, blow them up. But if you kept everybody all away, and left the bass down there and didn't make them make that tritone jump,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be as interesting a chord on all, but it would get you where you wanted to go.
Yes.
Blow them all away. And that's just a problematic chord if we choose to do that as arrangers and give the bass blow them all away. That's mighty not easy to do, but not that they can't, but I'm just saying if we're looking for opportunities to not give them places to stumble, you wouldn't put a tritone in there.
Right. Yeah.
And if you keep the basses where they like to be, which is blow them all away.
Yeah.
Basses, blow them all away. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not easy to do. And so they didn't, if they wanted to be baritones, they would be, but anyway, but yeah, so that's kind of cool though, that you guys are noticing. cool
Yeah.
things like that.
That's pretty
Was there any other that we had? How about that? I was like, in 14, we talk about those big spread things, but sometimes those big spread things make real thrills, don't they? Time on 13 time, I always feel happy. And it's a great big happy chord, I think.
Happy.
And it's sometimes worth it. And then you got the bass going. Happy as happy. Yeah, that's a big jump. But it's probably worth it. It's an octave. We're not asking them to sing a tritone or, or an
Right.
augmented something or another. It's just an octave. So yeah, get over yourselves and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really fun spot. Yeah, fun spot to sing.
Yeah. So where were we, Jean? And we were talking about the chords. Did we have any more? Did we have any troublesome chords? Did we have any chords that conflicted you or made you want to go like, huh?
Well, I personally I'm still not clear on when a chord is a minor 6 or a 9, or actually,
Me too.
I'm less unclear on that one as I am as to whether something is a major 6 or a minor 7.
Yeah. So where's the spot? Show me a spot.
Yeah, find the spot.
Okay. Let's see. This is a minor 6 and 9. Minor 7. I
There
marked
was
it.
one in here.
Oh, the E minor 7. That's what it is. Right at the beginning of the chorus.
Yeah.
Right. Red, red robin comes. Is that a G6 or an E minor 7?
Okay, so Jean has a really good way to describe this, Jean. Would you do that, please? When the parts that are next to each other.
Yes. So are we talking about the chord of of robin?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be spelled like an E minor chord, E, G, B, D, or it could be G, B, D, E, right?
Right. Yes.
So 9 times out of 10, maybe, or maybe it's 7.5 times out of 10. I don't know. When it's labeled as a 6th chord, the 6th interval will be in neighboring parts. For example, if this is a 6th chord, G, B, D, E is the 6th, right? So the E would have to be right next door to the D. So in other words, either the baritone would have to be on the D, so that the lead and baritone, who are neighboring parts, they would be next to each other, or it could be the lead and the tenor that were next door to each other. But because there's another part in between the E and D, right? Because there's a D in there, so
Right.
that tells me it's not a 6th chord, that it's a 7th chord.
Okay. Okay. And that is what I chose to mark down as the minor 7 rather than the G6.
Yeah.
But okay.
Let me
and
just
then
say, Jean, you didn't quite finish what I didn't hear you say, what I have always written down that you said, which is when the 5th and the 6th of the chord are next to each
Right.
other.
Yeah, I sort of said that in a different way, but yes.
Well, say it clearer, would you please?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So what is the 5th? If we're talking about a G6 chord, G, B, D, the D is the 5th.
the D is the 5th.
And the E is the 6th. Okay. So
Yes.
so they would have to be in neighboring parts to be considered a 6th chord.
In all cases.
Well, in most of the cases, yeah. There's going to be exceptions to every rule.
So are we speaking in the case of minor chord as well as major?
Let me think.
Identifying a major 6 as opposed to a minor 7th?
Oh, a minor 7th. Yeah. Okay, ask that question again. I want to make sure I understand correctly.
So the basic principle that you just set forth, does that apply to minor 6 chords as well as major 6 chords?
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at differentiating the minor 6 and the B9 and the barbership 9, and then the major 6 and the major 7th, minor 7th.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, now I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yes, to me, a sixth chord, the fifth and sixth need to be neighboring parts. Yeah.
Okay, now what about when we go down to measure 26 and we look at that chord on sleep? I see either a minor six and under what you, the principle that you just set forth, it's not a minor six, it would be a C9. However, when I first learned, my little cheat sheets tell me that when you do a 9 chord, that the melody should be on the 9th. But in this case, the melody is not on the 9th. The melody's on the 5th there.
Yeah.
No, it's not the 5th. Yeah, it is. It would be on the 5th of the chord.
It's a 9, but not a major 9. That's a C9, not a C major
Yeah, it's a C
9.
dominant ninth. Yeah. C9.
That's, it's, so you're saying it's not a barbershop 9?
It's a barbershop 9, and the rule that you
Right.
said about it being on the melody applies to a major 9.
So that doesn't apply to dominant 9.
Correct.
So you can use a barbershop 9th chord regardless of where your melody falls?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
If it matches, if it follows the implied harmony, yes.
So it doesn't have to be when the melody's on the 9th or the 2nd.
Not for a dominant ninth, no.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, clear as mud, huh? It's like, say what? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And the other thing you look for when you're trying to decide, is it a major 6th chord or is it a minor 7th chord, is what kind of a chord is happening before that chord and what kind of chord is happening after that chord. So if the, let's see, where was that other measure where this was that we were talking about? Not to go back to it, was it measure 8 or where?
Minor 7. It's
What measure
it
was
actually happens a lot. It was in 17 for the E minor 7.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and it happens in a lot of measures there in the chorus.
Yeah.
Which measure were you just on? I'm sorry, I was making a note. Which measure did you say, dear?
17.
Oh, well, it occurs in 17, 18, and 20, 21, all of them. 22.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. When I look at measure 17,
Mhm.
I know that that's a minor 7th chord because of what's happening before it, which is a D major chord, and it's going back to a D major chord.
Okay.
So that's how so I look at it 2 different ways. I look at that, oh wait, the 5th and 6th are not beside each other. There's a clue. And because what's before it and what's after it, then that's the second thing that tells you that's a minor 7th chord.
So it's bookended by major chords. Is that what you're saying? It's got a major chord before and a major chord after?
Well, in this case, yes, but that doesn't always happen that way.
The E minor is the relative minor of the key next door to D. Is that,
Yeah.
does that have something to do with it?
Yes,
Okay.
next door, yes.
It's a relative minor to G, which is next over.
I don't know if this is any help at all, but let me just throw it out there. If you look at the Red Red Robin and you played and you left out the bass, oh, why can't I see this thing down here? I need another light. Okay, and it goes, Red Red Robin comes, Robin comes. It has a flavor to it, and that is the bass actually ends up, because it's doing kind of a pedal tone thing, being a 7th on that chord, right?
Yes.
It doesn't, it's not really a factor in what the chord's value is or what it's a it has a feeling that D doesn't really have anything to do with the flavor of the chord, because the flavor of the, it's like yeah, it's a pedal tone. Red, red robin comes, ba ba ba, and along. It's not, but it's not a part of when we decide a chord. Does that make any sense at all?
Yes, and let me add to that, Judy. So when you do that without the bass note, I have an E minor chord there on in, which again tells me it's an E minor 7th chord. That's another way to check that. Yeah. But you're right. That D is used as a pedal point. Yeah.
And if you revoiced the in chord, red, red robin comes, and put the B up on top, it feels, that's what it is. That D didn't really have a whole lot to do with that particular chord.
Yeah.
So like I said,
All kinds of different ways to look at that. Wow.
kind of
Yeah.
silly. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Confused you even more now, right?
Well,
Maybe
if you
it'll
guys weren't so bright and so on top of it, we wouldn't bring some of these things up. But you
Yeah.
are, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping that these would be something that you're going to go like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to do anything to confuse neither
Right,
one of us.
right.
We're just trying to give you all the different tools that you can look at to determine something. Because
Yeah.
I know for me, for a long time, I didn't have any of those tools. And then once I get them and I learn more of them, I just want to share them. And if
Right.
if it works for you, that's good. Otherwise you can break it apart and do it. Sometimes you just have to trust our ears, So,
Yeah.
all right,
I also
Jean,
say that
carry on.
the major 6th chord is not actually that common a chord. The minor 7ths, I'd say, I think, from what I've seen, the minor 7th chord is much more common and conventional. Yeah, I don't. You don't hear
Yes.
major 6s often.
Yes.
So I don't know. That doesn't really help. But
Major
I'd say
6
the
is
D-
more of a secondary chord for our barbershop arranging too.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't come across that as often
Yeah.
as you would a minor 7th. Yeah,
Mm.
well put. Yes. Yeah. Does that make sense? Sort of.
So
Till tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot to absorb. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
See,
Okay.
my big feeling is if you look at a chord like that and you know that it's either a minor 7th or a major 6th, you're in the right ballpark. Yay. You didn't call it an augmented 7th chord or something. Yeah.
That's exactly right. It can be this or it can be that. And we can make a case for any of them.
Yes,
So go for it.
exactly. So I wouldn't try to fret too much about it. And sometimes on those, like the ACP music theory test, it would say, what is this chord? And then they give you options. And so like there was one chord on there that it could be called a minor 7th chord, or it could have been called a major 6th chord. But in the answers, they only had one of those choices, So it's like, oh, okay, then I'll call it that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's try to move on. We're just about out of time here, but I would like to finish this. So how can we fly? How about the chord voicings? How are the voicings for you? Anybody notice anything?
The progression that really stuck out to me was the transition between bar 47 and 48,
Okay.
with the bass on a weak note in the chord on and long, which was tricky at sort of a key transition moment, particularly the downbeat of the chord. And they get a tritone interval as well. And it struck me as cool, but unnecessarily hard.
And you're talking, say that again, and what you were saying.
Just the transition between the D7 on at the end of bar 47 and long first chord bar 48. Also D7, the bass is on a weak note in the chord on both and long, and there's a tritone interval between. And I get why, because we're sort of doing contrary motion in bar 48 between the tenor and bass, and it's moving towards strong voicing, but the tritone makes that really difficult, and starting on the downbeat on a weak voicing, I'd imagine, is a risk.
Wow, good analysis. So one thing that is going to make it be not quite as difficult is because it's the same chord revoiced. It's a D7 here at the end of 47, and it's still a D7 in 48. So the they're thinking of, oh, I'll never get that because it's a tritone. The basses won't think of that. They'll just know that, oh yeah, somebody else just sang that note. Oh, I just jumped to the baritone note, and the baritone was just on that C. So it wouldn't be as difficult of a jump as other tritones would be, simply because it's the same chord revoiced again.
Right.
Okay, so that helps that part. And yeah, it is. But this is strictly for the contrary motion, yeah. Which we have seen in other places, right?
You know, there's a possibility there, just window shopping again, that you could avoid that by having, once again, the baritones and the leads do downbeat duet, and then have the other parts come in. So we didn't change any notes. We just changed how we sang, what time we go. So let me turn that up. Okay. Sweet song, song. So in other words, they hit the baritone and lead hit long, and then the other parts come in all along well. And instead of right now they have long well, it would be long along up. You see, they would give it a whole beat on a long, and then long well. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
So it would all flow together that way. Sweet love. I'm sorry.
And that measure 48 is a little bit syncopated too, which further complicates it.
And actually,
Yeah.
now that I played it, after I played it, it was in my head. It should be the tenor and the lead. Damn. It's and let the bass and the baritone come in next.
Yes, that makes more
Because
sense.
it sounded hollow when I played the baritone. In my head, that sounded good. But when I played it, I needed, yeah. Yeah, let the bass and baritone come in together on this, and it'd be real exciting. Yeah. Anyway, there are different ways to do that, and just to try and avoid some of those things. But like Jean said, when the chords repeated, they generally have heard it in their heads, but it still is odd. It's cool though, you know.
Yep. Yeah, that could be tricky, but yeah, it's not easy, but yeah, they'll hear it a little easier because it's the same chord. Did you find any other spots?
I wanted to ask about measure 23,
Okay.
where you've got everybody is essentially on the same note. I wondered why they didn't put the tenor on the octave above the lead. And
Yeah,
and
why
why not?
Yeah. Give the tenors something to do. They don't, they
Well,
don't
yeah.
go out for smoke or anything. So yeah, the tenors, I would do that. I'm with you, Don. I would definitely give the tenors the note, because it's an octave, so whatever.
An octave, yeah, why not?
And it would make a stronger chord than just everybody on a low A. I like
Right,
it.
right.
The other issue would be sync, surely, because to then come after a rest onto a word starting with S, you could end up with the snakes phenomenon if you weren't all
Yes, that's true.
Okay, could I just take every back? I'm sorry, but I just thought of something on 47 to 48. What we need is 3 parts to sing that. I just figured it out. So we need sweet song, right? Those 3 parts, upper 3 parts sing, and then bass comes in. Da, da, da. Once again, I like to showcase the bass, but there's a different variation there, is to have sweet song.
Are you looking at 47 and 48?
Yes, on
Okay.
48.
Long. Oh, then you just changed the word sweet song. Okay.
Okay. Nobody changes anything except the basses don't sing the first note.
Okay.
They sing, the upper three parts sing, they go along, and then the basses come in all along, and then they get their own note by themselves all along, then they go with the tenor goes with them. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because by the time everybody hits that, the tenors no longer, the basses no longer had to try and find a note because because they have a solo and they always get those notes.
Whew, okay.
But it would be exciting, wouldn't it? Long, all along, right? Just give it a little variety that way, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll try to shut up.
In 28, there's a 3-part chord, which is fine. I just thought it was an interesting choice. If I was arranging that, I'd feel obligated to voice it into 4, but that's just an interesting example to keep in your toolbox.
Ah,
I thought that was odd too.
Yes.
on the first note, I mean, the first beat of 28, you mean?
Oh,
On
No,
the out.
on out, it's a 3.
Oh, out. Oh, I
three
see
voice
what you're
chord.
saying. Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's good because the tenor doesn't have to.
Where are you, dear?
have a
I'm sorry, I missed
tritone.
you. Where?
Measure 28.
28.
Oh, 28.
Third
Okay,
chord.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's so the tenor doesn't have to do a tritone if they stayed up on the high D.
Yes, I'm sure
I
that
think
was
it's
the
interesting.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then there's the nice contrary motion following it between the bass and the tenor.
Spreads out.
Yeah.
Yes, and then it creates contrary motion. Yeah.
Right.
That was probably a good solution to really avoid the tritone there. Yeah. Yeah.
And you could also do get up because that's a big thing, right? Get up and bring
Yeah.
the tenor down right away to the A. Get up, get out of bed. So they never go get out of bed. They go up, get out of bed, which would be very cool, I think.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
Right here. Get
Get out of bed. It makes it all kind of like it was supposed to be that way. We meant it that way.
yeah. Don't you just love to be inside this arranger's head to think, why did you do that? Why did you pick that? Why did
And
you pick that?
let's just look just for the fun of it. Look at 27. We have a D chord, a rest, and a D chord and a D chord.
Shazam.
I don't know about you, but do you think there's an opportunity to put another chord in there? Like on the last beat of 27.
Like a B minor or something.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that chord, but
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of too.
Yeah.
so
What was that chord?
Yeah, so it's
We did an A7.
get up. So it's an A7 with the basses on it. Get up, get out of bed. I'm just saying sometimes maybe the same chord 4 times in a row could use a little variation.
Yes, unless, that's exactly the same, is it? No, not quite. Yeah. Maybe they did it on purpose to emphasize, get up, you fool. I don't know. Interesting. That would give it a little bit of variety. Yeah.
Putting the leads or the tenors on a C sharp on get, and the basses on an E on get, and the baritones on a G.
Yeah.
You're still in 27?
Yeah, and 27, so it goes get up, get up. And it just gives a little variety to it instead of the same chord 4 times in a row. Right? Okay, sorry. I need to shut up. Okay.
No, I like how you throw in all those monkey wrenches. Perfect.
Okay.
Another way to look at something. Yep.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So where are we on here? We have weak voicings, I think. Pieces on the surf or smooth voice leading. I think we're discovering when they have a weak voicing, especially in the bass part, it's usually to make either a walking bass line or a smooth a smoother bass line or something,
Mm-hmm.
or something with contrary motion. That's what's been happening a lot with weak voices in the bass part, right?
And they're usually on a weak rhythm, so it doesn't
Right.
matter as much.
Right, exactly. Yep.
What did you think about, speaking of interesting or whatever voicings, in 51 to 52, where you had I always thought that was an interesting, odd melody.
What words are you on?
Are you talking about right here singing a song?
See, yeah, I'm sorry, I forget it's up there. 52, that chord in 52.
This one.
Yeah.
Singing a song. Wow.
It seemed like I'm just kid again, doing what I get again, singing a song. That seems like an odd chord for singing a song, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just to me, I thought it was interesting because then we go on to, oh wait. Well, when a red robin comes. Seems like an odd kind of a melody choice, doesn't it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
last note on 51, the melody should just stay on F sharp. Singing a song. It's a lot easier.
Yes.
It was singing a song. I don't know. It just seemed like singing a song when the red robin comes. Bob,
Yeah.
bob, bobbing along, bob. It's a kind of an odd melody line, don't you think?
Yes.
Because that's a choice to make. That's a tag that we sometimes do when we do them. It doesn't say tag, which is another thing is Gina and I've talked about. You need to
Right.
now label that is obviously at 53 a tag, right?
No, they labeled it at 49.
They
Oh, yeah.
okay. She labeled that at 49. Okay, I think okay. So that to me, okay, maybe it's tag 2. I don't know, but when the red robin comes bob bobbing along, bobbing along. Yeah. Okay. So it's a question. Yes, I'm just kidding again. You're right. That is the tag. But when we get to red robin, all of a sudden we had chords playing, didn't we?
Right. Yeah.
We
No
longer
melody
had a
anymore.
melody, and that's what
Right.
we're encouraging you to do is to find a melody. They're great chords. Red robin comes, but then we should label the tenor has the melody. Red robin comes, bob bob bobbing, and then they no longer have it after bob bob bob, right?
Right.
Because this is not a melody. When the red robin comes, bob bob bobbing along, bob bobbing along.
Yeah.
That's a harmony part, right? So we
Yes.
have to identify who has a melody.
That was always my biggest downfall when I wrote
It's the
tags.
hardest thing, isn't
'Cause
it?
I
was
love to
writing
do
things
chords, but it
and
made
then
no
somebody would
sense
say, "Where's
melodically.
your melody?" And I went,
Oh.
"They're really cool chords." We
Yeah,
want-
that's what I did too. I was guilty all the time.
but we want a melody. Who has it? So just be aware of it so that you know. I mean, Dot Calvin's an awesome arranger. I love her stuff. But that's an old right, and a new right is we need to identify
Mhm.
what the melody is. So if singing a song when the red robin comes, bob bob bobbing, yeah,
Oh,
she
there
needs
it goes.
to finish.
Along. It went down to the bass. Along. There's the rest of the
Hand
melody.
it off, in other words, right? You see what I
Yeah.
mean? Along, like as Jean just said, give to the bass there, or
Mhm.
finish it.
Yes, that would make more sense.
And then go on to something else and let somebody post it. Just to be aware, that we have a fine arrangement here, but we are tasked with having a melody. So don't go writing something like this that don't have no melody.
Just while we're on this section, I was a bit perplexed by the chord choice on song on 52.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Because a sustained diminished on a downbeat is a bit of a
Yeah.
risk, isn't it, in terms of lack of opportunity for ringing in a tag?
True.
Wouldn't you
Yeah.
preempt and move to the 7 a bit earlier, or put in some other chord substitute that's a 7 or a 9 there?
Yes, yes.
I'm not sure what you would pick other than
And you
preempting
know,
the 7.
exactly, Emily, exactly, because we would, let's skip to the high point because this points it out, doesn't it? Where is the high point? That could be a high point, but not on that chord, right?
Yeah.
That's not a high point anyway you look at it. But singing a song could be if it went song, if it ended somehow on that kind
Yeah.
when the red robin, something like that. But that is an odd chord, and you were exactly right. I was hoping somebody would notice.
Yes, yes.
Sustain that chord. What is the name of that chord anyway?
I think it's a
Dim,
Q.
isn't it?
Q
Diminished.
chord.
It's a what?
A Q chord.
A Q chord.
Key of Q. When I can't figure out what it is. Key of Q.
Oh yeah.
It's a diminished chord. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. What is the name of that chord? Anybody?
It's a diminished chord.
Diminished. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Oh, sure it is. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you're right.
But it's not spelled correctly. It should be stacked thirds.
You're right. Well, it depends on how you stack it. Yeah, they say you could stack it from the bass. But if you stacked it from the G sharp, E, D, F, it would be B, D, F. Yeah.
So it depends on where the melody is. And here's the other part that's interesting. If you go back to 49, just again, again, doing what again, singing a song.
Singing a song.
Like singing a song or singing a song or something, but singing a song sounds like somebody.
I switched to baritone. Oh,
That's so
geez.
true. So we need to be aware that once again, that we actually have a melody because we're with you. I'm just a kid again, do it again, singing a song. It's scary. Yeah, so just be aware of things like that, that we need to find a melody and a better chord to sustain in an important part of the song. Especially
Right.
even though she doesn't have a fermata, she has an odd tempo after it, doesn't she?
Yes.
So as Emily said, you're gonna hold that sucker for a while and it's gonna be, why am I holding this chord? And the audience is wondering, why are you holding
Yeah,
this?
because we're, oh yeah, up here it says slow rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for a swipe, but only if it was on a 7 chord.
Right, right.
And then that could be the climax if it was
Exactly.
done properly.
It's the perfect place for the climax, but with a different chord. Yes. And a swipe would be fun. Yeah. Yeah, very
Yep.
good. Phew.
Yep, I think so. Okay, so anyway, okay, we talked about, yeah. Where are we, Jean?
Yeah. That's what I'm checking to see. Did we get through? You know, I'm trying to.
So what do you, oh yeah, we didn't talk about, well,
Overtime.
open and close. We didn't talk about, what do you think about the lead tenor, lead Barry thing in this thing?
Where?
You know, do we have any problems where the baritone is too much above the lead, or well, or is it in a good place? I think it's a good place, isn't it, mostly?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because
The
sometimes
baritone
you
is
don't
quite
have
a
a
bit of-
choice.
The baritone does quite a few nice parallel thirds with the lead, so normally what the tenor does, but there's quite a few places where it sings well against the lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And did we have other examples? There are a few other examples that are kind of notorious, I think, in this one for a weak voicing. Like, do you have any that you particularly noticed on the ones we already talked about? How about measure 31?
Yeah, we've got the tritone and the bass.
It's a lovely chord. love, love, laugh. But it's a nice, it's very pretty, but it's a kind of an iffy place for a bass for a big old tritone on an important
Yeah.
chord like that, because there's a rest, live, love, and we're expecting them to come right in on that, huh?
Mm-hmm. That is weird.
It's going to be really beautiful when it's really nicely sung. But if it might be safer to keep the bass, live, live, love, bass and be happy, unless you were writing for your championship quartet. And we knew that bass was going to sell that every day of the week. Yeah. It's one of those that we want to take the risk. Is it worth the risk on that one? Or do we want to save it for another time? Just to point them out. That's all. We're just pointing them out that could be troublesome when you do something. It sounds, again, really great in the piano. And then when you go to sing, you go live, love, love.
Oh, laugh.
Where did it go? Hey, I forgot to ask you. So you sing baritone, Liz, did you say?
Yeah,
And who else? What do you guys all sing?
sorry.
What does
I actually
everybody else
noted
sing?
this.
No, I mean, what? Abby, do you sing baritone too?
I should
You
be a
do.
tenor anatomically, but I was placed correctly in the baritone section.
That is so perfect. What do you sing, Donna? What? What do
I
you
was
sing?
muted. I'm sorry. I sing tenor.
Oh, you sing tenor, and Em, what do you sing?
Mainly
Emily?
Barry.
You're Barry, and what do you sing, Elizabeth?
I sing bass, but I'm very high bass. I can't hit all the very low notes, so I'm probably more a Barry, but I serve the chorus better in bass.
Yeah, you're a bisectional. I know.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay. So, all right, good. Okay, just wanted, all right.
Yeah, there's our cutoff.
So you guys
bell,
are all
right?
probably sick of my references to bass then, since you're mostly married. Love the berries. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, on to the next thing, Jean.
Yeah, I think we're kind of out of time. So is there anything else you want to go over about Red Robin?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Um,
Did we decide that we did find a high point that?
love. Oh, no.
I think this one's pretty easy, but to me.
Singing a
Can I please ask another question about chords?
Sure, you bet. Why not?
Measure 50, the last chord there,
Mhm.
that's a C9 on a seventh, the bass on the seventh, right?
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
on measure what now?
Measure 50,
And you're saying the last chord?
doing what I did again. Yeah, the again, that's with the bass on the seventh at the end there, right?
I thought that was it.
Right.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Putting the seventh though that's not really strong voicing, right? The seventh in the bass.
Right. Yes. True.
Okay.
It's worth it
And
'cause
Elizabeth, I'm glad you said that, because you know what would make that really cool? Is if you had the bass be the downbeat on sing. Doing what I did again, sing,
Yeah.
sing. Then that would give them a reason to have that, because they would be singing a song. Everybody else comes in after them, right?
Again, sing.
But if
Yes.
they just have to end on it, sing again, it seems kind of pointless, doesn't it?
Just hanging out there, yeah.
No, but
Yep.
it's a nice it's doing a contrary note change with the lead.
Right.
It is doing that. You're exactly right. And
Yeah, but I think a good way to lead out of that is to do exactly that. Have them singing a song. Oh,
Okay,
singing
and the
a
next-
song.
yeah.
but it furthers the purpose. And doing what I did again, sing.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes a passing tone,
Mhm.
which we say is okay, but doing what I did again, just
Just
to
like-
hold out there is kind of like
Yes.
not feeling
Okay.
comfortable. But give them the next note. Singing a song, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for pointing that. That was a good thing to point out.
Yep.
So high point. Back to high point. Sometimes the high point comes at the
At the end.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when the red robin comes bob gonna bobbing along, right?
Yeah. But
I
I
don't know if
think
there's a-
I think song at 52 has the opportunity to become a high point if it was
It
a
did.
different chord and
Mm.
get a swipe. Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But you can't give a high point to
Not to
a
that
chord
wacko
on a
chord.
diminished, isn't it the diminished chord? Or something? Yeah,
Yeah.
and an odd melody.
Right.
I mean, you want that singing a song or singing
Yeah.
or whatever, but
Singing
singing
a
a
song or something, yeah,
song. It's like,
Oh, that's a
bring out
tension
my
chord.
crutches here. Yeah.
It's a tension chord.
Boy, that's for sure. Uh,
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just weird.
Tension for the wrong reason. Blah! Ah.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we need to wrap this up because it's getting late.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And we need to talk about our next assignment.
Right. So next time we're gonna do love letters. Right? And then we're gonna start with love letters, and we could go on with starting activity 3. Let's see, what is activity 3?
Don't we want to just assign activity? Because I'm trying to find my silly thing here. What is it? Oh, man. I got this.
Oh, I need to do the next bit of down on the farm.
Yes.
Yes,
that-
yes.
Yes. That's what I was looking for. What do we do next?
It's the verse, right?
Yes, so if next week we could just we'll just go through love letters and then let's go ahead and assign where am I here? Jeez, Judy. Where are we?
I don't know, is that still part of activity 2?
Hmm?
Because I'm looking at activity 3 and it's not that stuff.
I think it is in the activity 2 worksheet.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty, yeah. Okay.
You guys are definitely ready to move on to the next thing. I can tell you one thing, that I have all of the Act 1 pieces in between here and I need to remove them because what I've done is I have all of the things we did with them on another page and anyway, so our exercise 2 is to do the 16 measures of the verse
Yeah,
for the melody that you did in activity 1. So now we've done the chorus, right?
right.
And now you're going to do the verse. So arranging that with following the indicated harmony and whatever. So if we did that and we could go quickly through love letters and then start looking at your amazing arrangements of the verse. Okay, can we do that?
Right. Has anyone started the verse
I
yet?
said amazing arrangements because that's what we expect is your
But does
amazing
that-
arrangements of the verse.
Does that give you assessors time to look at it though?
Well,
Because we
that's
need-
what I'm thinking. We need to change the
Yeah.
next date then.
Oh, why did
Yeah.
we, yeah, that's right. I gotta get my calendar out here. Okay.
Has anyone started, has anyone arranged the verse yet?
Well, I already did.
Yeah, okay. Well, now after learning some
haven't.
more stuff, then go back and look at it and see if there's something that you might.
Yeah.
I haven't
Wait a
looked at it, it might change.
We had this, today's the 4th and our next was on the 18th. Is that, do you
Yeah.
just want to do love letters and then do the next thing? Or can we do love letters and do you have time to do the verse or have you already done it anyway?
And do we
haven't
have
done
time to look at it? My
Well,
biggest
when we-
problem, my biggest problem is
when-
I don't have time to look at it because I'm going on a cruise for 7 days.
Mm.
Okay.
So-
When,
well, that's not
yeah,
bad.
when would you want it? Like, would you want us to send it to you on the 11th or something?
Yeah, usually the week ahead of time. Yeah.
So if you send it, basically, if you send it on the 13th or the 14th,
Okay, let
we
me
have
look.
time to look at it then. Gene, when do you get back?
Yes, let me get back on the 12th, right? I go
Yeah, we have
directly off the ship into an all-day coaching session. So, yeah. So that'll
Well,
be
I
fun.
I think that if we could, if everybody could have them to us on Valentine's Day, we'll have a chance to look at them and whatever, and send them out to you so
Yeah.
that you get them by like the 17th. Gene?
Okay, so let me ask this.
Am I making you crazy?
Yeah, would we be able to change the next date to the 25th instead of the 18th?
I won't be here.
No,
you're
I
not
can't do
I
it.
can't do the 25th.
I can't
Okay.
do it.
Okay, then we'll keep it on the 18th then. All righty. My husband's going to shoot me because we had postponed our party 3 times, and the next day he picked was this one, and I'm like, oh my gosh! All right, he's going to shoot me.
Unless you want to change it to delay it even further. Gene, we
Either-
don't want to. You've been, doing a lot for us. We don't need to.
Mm.
Shall we just postpone the 19th until like
Maybe-
a month from now?
Like maybe March 4th. Would
Sorry,
that
I'm
work?
away that weekend.
Oh, see,
Yeah, I
I
that's
can't
what
do it
happened.
either. It's my
Okay.
course retreat.
All righty.
Let's
Well,
keep the 18th, and if Jean,
Okay.
I can, I'll be able to be looking at these things, and then whatever time she has to do it,
Yeah.
we'll get that together. She's a quick study.
Yeah.
I'll send things off, because that's when I do have time, is next week, or I mean, the
Okay.
week of the 14th.
But does
And
that,
so, because after that, things get a little complicated for me for the next couple weeks.
Right.
And so
yeah.
I would like to be able to look at them so if you can send them by the 14th, if that's the time, if you
Okay.
need more time, then you can take more time. Okay,
Does that
do you-
mean before the
do you have
14th
to-
or on the 14th?
well, I mean,
On the 14th even is
you
fine.
can have them
Okay.
to us on the 14th if that's not too much stress. If that's too much stress, or if you're having difficulties, then, I'm knowing you guys, I'm just thinking that's not too much difficulties.
Well, say so now. I'm not like seeing a funny look on Liz's face. Like, oh no, oh no.
No, it's fine. I'm just thinking 14th, 15th, 13th. I'm just getting my days
Okay.
right.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Okay. Yeah.
But Jean, are you saying you have to cancel plans to do our meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is accommodate that Jean is asking for not even the prep, but the actual meeting.
Yes.
Might be
Yeah.
a problem.
Mm.
Could it be the
Oh,
next
okay.
day? Could it be the 19th, 20th?
Yeah. See if that's
for
possible.
for you guys, the 19th
I could do the
instead
19th.
of the 18th.
That would
Can
be
you
really
19th?
helpful. Can
Sunday
everybody?
morning. I can do that.
Yeah, it's like 24 hours from this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That would be so helpful.
I'm sorry, Jean, you should have told me that ahead of time, because I wasn't following you. I just thought, I didn't know you needed something on the 18th. So,
Yeah. That would just keep peace in the family if I
oh, well, we want that, honey.
do
We do
this
want
on
that.
the 8th. You know what? I said he wanted to go on this cruise. And I said, well, I can't do it then because I got my cohort group. Well, how about that? Well, I can't do it then because that's our next meeting. So we were trying to
Coaching, yep.
fit it in between things. And now I have to go back and say, oh, I can't.
So
Oh,
you
that,
got the 19th and at 3 o'clock, is that what you want? Does that good
Yes.
for everybody? Or
yes.
do you want
At
4 o'clock on the 19th?
the same time that we did today.
So 4
Yeah.
p.m.
Except-
Central. 4 p.m.
yes.
Central.
All right. Except on the 19th instead of the 18th.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Mm.
so,
For always
so then-
accommodating us.
so you can still, do you have enough time then to do the
Yes.
verse that you feel comfortable with it, to send it to us on the 14th?
Okay.
Is that enough time for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't. I mean,
Yeah, we don't want to pressure you into,
We also might not get through everyone's if we're already.
True.
It would take a
Mm.
whole section to get through everyone's.
Mm.
I'm not trying to let you off, Liz, but I am trying to let you off that you could just go last, and if we're
Yeah,
doing
if you
love
get
letters
your
as well.
sending a little later, as long as you can
Yeah.
get it in, at least 24 hours before
Oh, yeah, you
we
did.
meet
Yeah,
again,
sure. If you don't have it, there's
that would be
no,
helpful.
if the target or the guideline is the 14th, if you need the 15th, if you
Yeah.
need the 16th, that's fine, because we're
Yeah.
not meeting till the 19th. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, 14, 15, 16, that's fine. I can only look at one at a time anyway, so.
right.
Could we possibly book in the next couple of sessions as well? Because it
Yes.
looks like our calendars
Yeah,
are
let's do
already.
that. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
I
Having chock-a-block.
know, it's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so we have definitely the 19th/20th for the next one, right? Of
Yes.
February, okay. All right, then, so then the next assignment after down on the farm, because it may take us 2 sessions to get through. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean,
But let's set a session up anyway, so we have a time saved.
Yeah,
I like to
right, right.
I know that I'm gonna do this. I block my time out. So what's the next time you want to meet?
So I don't know, it's up to you guys.
Can't do 5th, 6th, 12th, 13th. 12th, 13th is not available, right?
Of
I'm looking at.
March,
How about March 11th?
You
11,
so
12.
March 11, 12.
yeah.
Sorry, I can't do 11, 12, but I could do 12, 13.
Oh,
Your Saturday night, our Sunday morning.
Yep, yep.
yeah,
Okay?
12/13 would work, right? Would that
Yeah.
work?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so 12, so we're Saturday, Sunday, okay,
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
Same time though. Yeah.
Same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay,
And shall we do one more?
okay.
Yes.
5 p.m. Yeah. Okay, got that on there. Yes. Okay. And then what? 2 weeks after that, maybe? I don't know.
I have a coaching that
26.
weekend. That's gonna be fast.
Okay.
April. I'm not sure when Easter is or if people have regional contest stuff coming up. Ah,
Yeah, our
I don't have
regional's
those
the
marked in.
end
Easter's
of
like
April.
the 17th, but we could do no fooling April Fools.
I
Sorry,
can't
I can't do that weekend.
No, I
Okay.
can't
Not that
either.
weekend, okay, good.
That's
Okay.
okay.
8, 9, 10.
I can, that's our regional competition. I can't do
Okay.
it that weekend, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Regional? What is your regional?
11.
Oh, okay.
The 11th of,
I'm in region 11 and our competition is the weekend of the 8th, 9th.
Okay.
oh, the 8th, 9th,
Seven-
okay.
7, 8, 9th, and 10th. Yeah. That's our big thing. That's
Okay.
if it's gonna happen,
Right.
Mm.
Well, it looks like
Right
April's
now,
out
it's-
then. Yeah.
It's supposed to happen, but we'll see.
So so 1st and 2nd is out. 8th and 9th is out.
Yeah.
15th and 16th is Easter.
That's Easter, so that's out. For me, it is anyway. I don't know.
Okay,
And then the 22nd.
How about 22nd, 23rd?
It's okay with me.
That'll
Do-
I'm
work.
gonna bring champagne and chocolates. The 22nd is my birthday.
Yeah, I see that there. I looked at what this is Judy's birthday. So maybe you don't want to
Everybody
do
gets
it
to
on
meet
your
their birthdays, by
birthday.
the way. I only have 3 birthdays. Two people haven't sent me birthdays.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so do
Would
you
you
want?
rather not do it since it's your birthday? So can maybe the Saturday on that one?
Yeah, the Saturday, would that be good?
Sorry, I can't do that one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
Did we look at the last weekend of March?
That's
The
what I was
20
looking at. That's probably
25th, 26th? Did we talk about that?
that would be the best shot, probably.
that is,
Sorry.
that's our
Oh,
coaching.
okay. Oh, you can't do
Oh.
either Friday or
I'm
Saturday.
away.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, sorry.
All righty.
Here's what I could do. If that worked for everybody, and since April is probably pretty much out, what I could do is our coach leaves at 3. So if we did it that day, like on the 4th,
Which day are you
at 4
talking
o'clock.
about?
What day you on?
I'm talking about the 26th at 4 o'clock.
Which month?
You were talking
Yeah.
about
Which month?
March.
No, somebody's not available that weekend, right?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm away.
Oh, you're away too. Okay, I thought it was just me. Okay, good. Thank you. I was trying to come from a coaching session and try and be, my last coaching session as director.
Oh,
Ah.
After
yeah.
37 years, my
Oh,
last,
Wow.
which is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we have pretty much, we are into
February
May,
19th.
right?
Did we,
Right.
did we actually look at the weekend of the 18th, 19th, 20th of March, which would be 1 week after the other one we've scheduled?
Oh, I'm not available that weekend. I'm in charge. I'm coaching in a retreat in Michigan. So I won't even be
So we're in
around.
May.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to warn you that sometime probably in May we're going to be sailing to Fiji. So when I'm there, I can still do these sessions no problem. But I may have a last minute I can't do this, and don't worry about that. I just might. It really depends on what's called weather windows. So I
Ah,
really won't know until very last minute, like a week ahead, when we'll be going. So I'm just giving you a heads up that I'll obviously try my hardest not to miss out.
Right.
But
Abby, are you
that's-
taking your catamaran to Fiji?
yes. And then it's like 1 week voyage. So
That's so exciting.
it is. I'm just letting you know I have no control over
Right.
scheduling for that time. So
Gotcha.
go ahead and schedule stuff, and I'll let you know as soon as possible if I have to change it. And
Okay.
if I have to miss out,
Okay.
it's just one of those.
Right. And
like
you say
giving
that'll
birth, you
happen
just
in
don't have a
May?
choice.
Is that what you said? What month would that be?
Well, approximately May, but it could be earlier.
Okay.
So just I'm just giving you a heads up now that I might
Gotcha.
have a unexpected unavailability.
Sure.
Did we look at the last weekend in February, even though it would be a week away from the other one? Like the 25th or 26th?
yeah.
I'm not available.
That's
Okay.
that's our retreat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Okay. All righty.
we're going to get some coaching and stuff.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
we're moving along at a pretty good clip. If
Yeah.
we take things off in these things, we're fine.
Yeah.
know,
Right.
We've I was the other group, World Accord, and whatever, were asking how we were doing, and I said, basically, we go on a faster schedule than the other group did, and so this will just kind of bring us back into,
Yeah.
So I think it looks to me like with everybody's coaching and contests and
Oh my gosh,
everything else,
competition gets in the way. We haven't had competition for 2 years. That's
I
why it
know.
didn't get in the way before.
I think we can just, if we go to May, we're gonna be fine. I think we're
Yeah.
gonna be fine. We'll figure this out, right?
Right. So
Okay.
can we pick a May date?
Okay. I'm pretty much open in May.
Cannot do May
6th,
6th and 7th because that's our regional competition in Ohio.
Really?
But that's going to be virtual. So I guess maybe I could do it then if it's virtual. They just changed it. Yeah.
Okay,
The next 2 weekends after that would be out for me.
Okay, then let's just do May 6th. Would that work? The Friday,
Yeah. Perfect.
May 6th, 7th at same time, 4 p.m. Central Time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's gonna be close, but I'll try. I'll do it.
Okay, wait, what's the matter? What's going to be close?
We'll just.
Well, maybe we could do the Saturday night instead of the Friday night.
No,
maybe.
I can't do that.
Oh, okay.
It's a, so, yeah, briefly, we go, have you all seen the musical, Come From Away?
Mm.
No.
It's brilliant. It's on Apple TV if you have Apple TV, but I've seen it twice in London, and then I've seen it on the Apple TV here, but it's here. It's going to be in Sioux Falls, which is across the state, and we're going to go see it there because it's like the most marvelous thing in the world. It's when on 9/11 when the planes couldn't land in America, and they went to Newfoundland, and in Gander, Newfoundland, a population of like 6,000 or something. 7,000 people landed there, like 33 planes came in and landed in there. It's
Oh,
the story of them. Welcome to the
Oh.
Rock. It is. And how
cool. I know the
Gander,
story.
Newfoundland made it work and took care of all of these people that I'm this little town, and it's this, and it tells us wonderful story. It's absolutely, the music and everything is glorious. It really is. It makes you feel happy in a time when there's not a lot to feel happy about sometimes. But
Right.
this is Welcome to the Rock. It's just great. And it's these people in Newfoundland, and the whole story of that, and how they landed there, and how shocked they were, of course, because they used to, before there was all this, the planes could carry all this fuel, everything stopped there, so they had the huge runways, but then everything, they started just flying directly right into like LaGuardia or whatever, and right into London, whatever. And so now when that couldn't, and they all got turned around, they said, sorry, you can't land here. You have to go to Gander. And all these planes start landing, and you can imagine the people there in Gander, Newfoundland are going like, what? There's 746, there's how many planes are out there? And all these
Yeah.
planes are landing, and they're like going, holy cow. And they have to start thinking about how to feed them, how to take care of them, how to house them. A little town of like 6,000 or 7,000 with
Wow.
36 jumbo jets landing.
Hmm.
So it's a
So what's the date of that?
well, we're going to go see that on the 4th in Sioux Falls, but we'll come back, and we'll get back on the 6th in time for that. That's okay. I can do it. But then the 7th is the Barber Shoppers show, two things. And it's my final performance as a director. So I need to be here for
Oh,
that one. So
yeah.
3 p.m. on the 6th is good. I got it.
Okay. Phew.
Sorry for that thing but you need to watch Come From Away. It's great. Make you feel good all over.
Hmm.
Okay, so we got that at
Okay,
May
good.
6th. I think we're all set now.
Did you say it was comfort away? Comfort?
Come
Home.
From
Oh, come.
Away.
Come from
Come
away.
From away.
Yeah, Come From
Okay.
Away. It's the name of it.
Alright.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
interesting. The London cast that I've seen 2 times, or the cast I saw, I always said, because I've done a lot of musical theater, I'm like going, I have to do that show, but I'm going, I'm too old or something. I can't do this. And then I watched on Apple TV the American cast. I'm going, heck yes, I can do this. The American cast is bigger, physically bigger. Okay, there's some heavy ladies in there. Okay,
Oh.
they're bigger and they're older. And it all worked beautifully. And I'm going, heck yes, I can do this. But it's just wonderful. I'll tell you, my husband is not, well, he's a bluegrass fan.